Sunday night baseball here in Saugerties for a second straight week as the Stallions welcome the red-hot, undefeated Amsterdam Mohawks here to Cantine Field. Welcome to the Arch Top Fiber pregame show. Dan Schaum with you alongside Nick Zuppi as we get you ready for Stallions versus Mohawks. But Nick, before we talk about anything here tonight, we got to look back to the Stallions' last matchup against the Boonville Lumberjacks, in which Saugerties fell 8-4.
It was just a sloppy game all around. 4 errors defensively, leaving numerous guys with runners in scoring position. The Stallions were just sleeping through this one down in Boonville.
And it was hard for this team to get anything going offensively. This was a squad that in the previous 3 games put up at least 10 runs in the wins. So that was this point of struggle. Another one, too, the pitching. Derek Constance only getting through 3 innings.
Yeah, they just walked guys. That was the bottom line. They couldn't find consistent strikes. That was, if you throw strikes, good thing happened, and it just wasn't the case last game.
Stallions also had the bases loaded in the top half of the 8th, but couldn't convert anything. That was the chance when it was a 3-run game. But Saugerties ends up dropping one on the road, and Nick, this has become somewhat of a theme now. Have lost 2 straight away from Cantine Field, sitting at 1-2 overall away from home. But here at home, an undefeated 2-0 to start the year.
More importantly, that's the biggest thing. They're back home at here tonight, facing, like you said, the red-hot Amsterdam Mohawks. Huge opportunity for a bounce-back game. They had 2 days off. This game, look out for the Stallions tonight. It might come out big.
Saugerties went 3-8 last year against the Mohawks overall, and Nick, actually the last game of Saugerties' season was in the PGCBL East Final.
Yes, these teams met 10 times last year in the regular season. This one was meeting number 11, like you said. We're going to start here in the top of the second inning. Josh Blackmore lines a base hit to the right side. Justin Ford, who played left, will come in and score. Another guy on this Stallions team this year who's been raking thus far in 2025. Later in the bottom of the second, the Mohawks started to play some small ball. Yaman's throw goes up the right field line. Here comes another run, but the play doesn't end there. Watch Rob Rispoli. He bunted. He gets caught in a rundown between first and second, and you're going to see some action later at the plate. DiGiorno waiting, and now he bolts for home. The throw goes over Amato's head at home, so the Mohawks add 4 with another one right here, another suicide squeeze. Wilson coming around to score off Javar Williams' bunt. 5 in the bottom of the second alone for Amsterdam, all coming off of bunts. Fast forward now to the bottom of the 6th. Javar Williams singles to left field, adding a Nacarado insurance run. 8-3 Amsterdam over the Stallions through 8. Going to the 9th, the Stallions had a little bit of a rally on their hands. Peyton Bonds with the bases loaded hits a fielder's choice. It's now a 2-run game, 8-6. Next batter is Eddie Yaman at the dish. He lines a base hit to left field. So all of a sudden, down 8-3. The Stallions now are down 8-7. But down to their last strike, Andrew Amato hits a fielder's choice to short. That will retire the Stallions. That will end their season. Stallions fall 8-7 to Amsterdam in the PGCBL semifinals.
Yeah, Nick, ironically, the last time the two teams played each other at Shuttleworth Park to start the year, it was an 8-7 loss, and the Stallions trailed 8-4 going into that inning as well. But now we changed things over to this year, and this is an Amsterdam squad that looks just as, or if not more dangerous than last year's team.
When you look at their stats, I mean, the Mohawks, man, they're just raking. Like, there are unlimited positive adjectives you can use here. They're first in numerous categories, one of them being average, and the Stallions, if they're going to have to win today, I think they're going to have to out-hit a very capable Amsterdam lineup.
Saugerties last year actually did come up with a win in the first matchup between these two sides here at Cantine Field. That was a walk-off in 9 innings. But a point of struggle as of recently for the Stallions has been errors and fielding. Our Henry Hipschman has more on that.
Thanks, Dan. Errors have been an obstacle for the Stallions so far this season, with 8 in their first 5 games, 3 of which came against Boonville on Thursday. Now, that is the 3rd most in the East Division currently, and this is a team that had 36 errors in 41 games last season. I had a chance to catch up with head coach Colin Martin and ask him what occurred against Boonville that led to all these errors. He said a high percentage of these errors happen when his players are on their feet for a long time, and that happened because they lost their feel for the strike zone. He said a way to eliminate these errors is to stay engaged when innings get long, like they did against the Lumberjacks. He said another reason for these errors, it is some Stallions' first appearance during live play in a long time, with minimal or no appearances during the spring season, and so they're just readjusting and again getting used to the high-paced play of live at-bats. Now, This is a Mohawks team that averages a bit more than 10 runs a game, and they're traveling here to Cantine Field tonight if the Stallions hope to pull off another win at home.
With a lot of those guys from the Mohawks, this is a dude that shows up in the big ones, and I think he's going to be an impact player today. Nick, over to you.
Thanks, Dan. The Stallion that I'm focusing on in today's game is the number 3 hole hitter who's been playing right field, Travis Hobbin-Siefken. His last 2 games, he's 5 for 8, and he has the only 2 home runs on the Stallion squad thus far. In those 2 games, also, he has 5 RBIs, but this is coming off a 2023 season for the Stallions where he did not have a single extra base hit. Now, Hobbin-Siefken is in the lineup. He's hitting the ball far, even over the fence, and he's a big bat for the Stallions this summer in 2025.
Nick, this was a Mohawks team that was so dangerous last year. They had a great top 6, and that's continuing here in 2025. The player I'm focusing on in this game is Brandon McCrane. He has a .545 batting average. That ranks second among the entire PGCBL, and this is simply a guy that's going to hurt you. You see the 12 RBIs right there on your screen. McCrane loves to hit in the clutch situations, but can also work a walk, has 5 on the year. I think you'll see him be very disciplined at the plate tonight and attack these Stallions pitchers early on. Nick, what do you got?
For the Mohawks, I'm going to go with a guy who's played a little bit of catcher and a little bit of outfield. Bray Touchstone. This guy has been great manning a very tough Amsterdam pitching staff. They've led in minimal runs through the first 6 games, but Touchstone has been a beast in the batter's box as well. He's hitting north of 350. He has an OBP of more than 500, numerous RBIs through the first 6 games. This guy has been a key cog in the Amsterdam machine with both the pitching staff and the offense. Look for Touchstone to have a great day in this one. Now it's time to look around the PGCBL. Dan, no shock here in these standings. Amsterdam 1, Stallions 2. I'm not surprised to see them 1-2 at all.
And Nick, this is becoming kind of a race just for second place at this point. You see how far ahead the Mohawks are, and I know it's early in the season, but they're at 6-0, and everybody else only has a maximum of 3 wins. You can see the disparity in the league between the Mohawks, who are just killing it right now and seem unbeatable, and then everybody else.
The race for third, like you said, is going to be a good one. The Mohawk Valley Diamond Dogs, they played Saugerties well, walked them off about a week ago. That's a team where I think can challenge the Stallions for second place in these standings.
Well, it's also a team that the Mohawks rolled 20-0 2 days ago, so we'll see how the Stallions fare next time they play Mohawk Valley. But Nick, the Arch Top 5 pregame show is over. We got to get to the booth. First pitch coming up after this.
Let's do it.
Welcome to Cantine Field, Sunday Night Baseball, Stallions against Mohawks. Dan Shalom with you alongside Nick Zuppi here in the Pack Hub broadcast booth. Nick, the first taste the Stallions get of Amsterdam this season is here at home, and what a chance for the Stallions to make their mark on an undefeated 6-0 Amsterdam team.
These teams squared off a lot last year, 10 times during the regular season, and then ultimately won in the semifinals of the PGCBL last year, where Amsterdam closed out Saugerties 8-7 in that one to go on to win their third straight PCGPL championship.
And now let's take a look at the starting lineup tonight for the Mohawks. It's going to look a little bit like this. Luke Filippi, the leadoff guy, he played with this team last year. Brandon McCrane in the 2-hole. He leads the PGCBL right now in the East in average, second overall. Jake Long in the 3-hole. Then it's Chris Holcraft, Brady Touchstone, Jaden Harriel, John Young, Les deals a first pitch strike, and we're underway here from Cantine Field. And these two teams know each other very well. A 3-8 record for the Stallions last year. All three of those wins came here at home, as that one is bounced in the dirt. It's a 1-1 count. And Nick, it felt like early on in the season last year, the Stallions kept pace with the Mohawks and trying to do so already behind 3 games, sitting at 3-2 after that loss in Boonville the other day. Here's the 1-1. Cut and a miss for strike 2.
Last season, it felt like the Stallions pretty much had second place locked up the entire season behind Amsterdam. Already 3 games behind, just only 6 games into their season thus far.
1-2 count here for Svensson. He deals. Just misses on the outside corner, and the count goes to 2-2.
Svensson's fastball has some juice on it today, right?
Certainly does. Had 4 innings of only 1-run ball last time against the Oneonta Outlaws. This one's popped up on the right side. Comiskey shades towards it. He makes a play, and there's one down here in the top of the first.
That's a big out for Svensson because Filippi for Amsterdam has done a great job of getting on and setting the tone. He scored 9 runs through the first 6 games and 15 walks to go along with it. So he's been getting on base, and Amsterdam has been hitting him in.
And now the big SEC bat of Brandon McCrane comes to the dish. He has been tearing it up this year. We talked about it a little bit in the pregame show. A .545 average for him, along with 12 RBIs. Flares this one in first base foul territory. Comiskey giving chase. It falls for strike 1. Definitely not the guy you want to be facing at all, Brandon McCrane. But luckily for the Stallions here, nobody on and 1 out in the top of the first.
If you're a Stallions fan, you hope he does his damage in a situation just like this. You said, Dan, nobody's on. If he hits a double, it doesn't kill you. If he hits a home run, it doesn't kill you. It's only 1. You can recover from that.
A 1 count. Svensson had 6 strikeouts his last time on the bump, as that one misses down low 1-1. And he really had a great outing, only letting up one of those runs in the 4 innings. He's, out of all the starters the Stallions have had this year, the most prominent one thus far.
He worked ahead, which is a big thing. The first 4 batters he faced in this previous start, he was ahead 0-2.
Off-speed's in there for strike 2. Svensson with a chance for his first K of the night against McCrane, who's the most dangerous bat in the entire PGCBL East. 10 for 15 in his last 5 games. Svensson comes set. Here's the pitch. Check swing did not go around, and the count goes to 2-2. Second time in this game that Svensson's had a 2-2 count. Here's the pitch. This one is rocketed out to left center field. Rodriguez giving chase. He's on the track at the wall. It's off the wall. Rodriguez struggling to find it. McCrane is going over to third. There will be no throw. It's a stand-up triple for Brandon McCrane, and there's a runner at third here with 1 out in the top of the first.
McCrane really turned around that Svensson fastball, which has looked pretty good so far, but McCrane got the bat head out and nailed it right off the wall.
Jake Long, the left fielder, will be next here for Amsterdam. 263 average on the year. And Long, a guy who has Division I experience playing at Utah, so a good guy to back up McCrane as the Mohawks look to take an early lead. This one's tasered out over to left field. Ford is on it. That will score a run, and the Mohawks are up 1-0 here in the top of the first. And that's something that Amsterdam knows doing very well. They put up 20 runs against Mohawk Valley a couple of days ago, and then 15 last night against Glens Falls. So a team that loves to attack early and doing the same here at Cantine Field. Chris Holcraft, the cleanup man, will step to the dish here with 2 outs. In there for strike 1 from Svensson. 7 for 20 in his last 6 for Holcraft, and for the Stallions just to give up a run here in the top half of the first, given the top 6 for the Mohawks, would be a win. This one's chopped over to third. Barbero fields cleanly, throws across the diamond, can't be picked up by Comiskey. The errors have been a problem for this team. They had 3 up against Boonville the other day in an 8-4 loss, and already showing here against the Mohawks.
One of our sideline reporters, Henry Hitchman, did a piece on it pregame. Once again, the errors, like you said, a pivotal factor already, and there's only 2 outs here in the top of the first.
And this is a team, Nick, that you cannot give extra outs to. They are going to punish you. Bray Touchstone up to the dish next. The first baseman. Runner over at first is Holcraft. Here's the pitch. That one misses outside. Touchstone, another guy who has experience at the Division I level playing with St. Bonaventure. 7 for 20 in his first 6 games here in Amsterdam. Svensson shakes off the sign, now comes set. He will go over to second. Holcraft running. Throw down from Sanchez. Not in time on a hop, and it's a stolen base for Chris Holcraft. He moves into scoring position here with 2 down in the top of the first.
Sanchez has yet to throw out an opposing runner. Blanco, the other catcher for Saugerties, has thrown out 2, despite Sanchez not able to nail a runner at second base.
Stallions did give up a run in the top of the first. In the first matchup between these two teams last summer, would go on to win that game 5-4. Holcraft is at second. It's a 2-0 count. Here's the pitch. Misses on the inside corner, and it goes to 3-0. Third baseman Jaden Harriel waiting on deck. Svensson deals, misses down low. It's a 4-pitch walk to Touchstone, and Harriel will come to the dish. Runners at first and second now with 2 outs. Harriel, the rising sophomore from Florida Atlantic, has been another guy who's been dangerous here in the first few games for the Mohawks. 9 for 21. That comes out to just above a 475 average, so not the type of batter the Stallions want to be facing in this position, but there are 2 outs on the board. Svensson deals. Off speed is in there for strike 1. We saw Svensson battle through some adversity in Oneonta in that start. 3 hits and an earned run, but worked efficiently with those 6 strikeouts, searching for some of that dominance here in the top of the first. Runners are at first and second. Svensson fires, misses down low, and it seems like, Nick, that release point and where he's landing on the mound is a little bit off in comparison to last time.
The breaking ball specifically, like you said, Dan, just a little bit outside. He's not really elevating the breaking ball. Everything is pretty much in the dirt into that left-handed batter's box.
Svensson deals. Fastball misses at the top of the zone. 2-1. Mohawks only won one of their first 3 matchups here at Cantine Field last season before winning the last 2. Ended up with a record of 2-3 here at Cantine Field in the regular season. Runners at first and second, 2 out here in the top of the first. The pitch breaking ball in there for strike 2, and now a chance for Svensson to limit the damage here with 2 out.
1 run right here would be big. Multiple at-bats with runners in scoring position for Amsterdam. For Svensson to get out of this, only allowing 1 run, you would have to consider this a win if you're manager Colin Martin of Saugerties.
And this Mohawks team put up 4 runs in the top of the first last night at Glens Falls. Svensson fires that one, is fouled off to the right side, and we'll do it again. Stallions have lost 5 straight games to Amsterdam heading into this one. Last win being on July 8th here at Cantine last season. Amsterdam undefeated, standing at 6-0 on the young season. I'm looking to keep that going here tonight at Cantine Field. Runners are at first and second, 2 outs here in the top of the first. Svensson deals. That one rubs off the knob of the bat, and the count will stay 2-2.
You heard commotion from the Amsterdam dugout. They were all saying it hit him, but the umpire didn't think so.
Lots of 2s on the board. 2 on, 2 out, 2-2 count here in the top of the first. Harriel looking to extend this lead here for the Mohawks. Svensson comes set at the belt, now deals. Tried to go with the power fastball there, but Harriel's able to get a piece and stay alive. Amsterdam, over the last 2 games, outscoring their opponents 35-2. You heard those numbers right. 15 against Glens Falls last night, 20 against Mohawk Valley a couple days ago, and only allowing the Dragons to score 2 last night in Glens Falls. Looking for that same start here tonight. The off-speed misses inside. Runners will be released here on the full count.
Harriel has done a great job of battling back in this count. 8th pitch upcoming from Svensson.
Svensson fighting through some early adversity here in the top of the first. The count is full. There's 2 outs with runners at first and second. Svensson deals. That one misses at the top of the zone, and now the bases are loaded for John Young, the second baseman, in his first at-bat as an Amsterdam Mohawk. And we'll see a mound visit here for the Stallions early on, just wanting to calm Svensson down. Svensson only had a singular walk nick against Oneonta a few days ago, and already has 2 here tonight.
You can see it. He's a little antsy on the mound. Like I said, you can see it. His fastball is a little too much ride. It's going up in the zone. His breaking ball hasn't landed for a strike at all. You could see Svensson is fired up. He wants to pitch against the #1 team in the PGCBL right now, but he's just not throwing strikes.
And the thing is here, the bases are loaded, but they really shouldn't be. This all stems from the E5 by Danny Barbero at third base, which allowed Chris Holcraft to reach, and then Svensson walked to the following 2 batters.
You can't give a great offense extra outs. You're destined to fail if you're the Stallions when you give extra teams extra outs.
Young with the crimson helmet on. Played his college ball at Alabama. This one's hit out into right center field. Rodriguez giving chase. He looks up at the wall. It's out of here. It's a 2-out grand slam for John Young in his first at-bat as a Mohawk. What a way to make an impact, and in a blink of an eye, it's 5-0. I mean, Nick, you couldn't draw up a better start for John Young as a Mohawk. 2 outs in the inning, and once again, it all goes back to that E5 by Barbero. The Stallions are in a big hole now early.
Young got the first pitch fastball and didn't miss it. First pitch he sees in the PGCBL is a rocket over the fence for a grand slam. First hit, first RBIs, only 1 pitch seen.
And that one was just smoked out there to left, or to right center field, excuse me. And that one was probably hit at least 375. Wes Walker, the catcher, to the dish now. The Mohawks have been pouring it on. They're outscoring opponents 40-2 over the last 18 innings and 2/3. Svensson quickly gets ahead 0-2.
Going back to Young's grand slam, this was a guy who saw minimal action just a season ago at Alabama. He didn't even have an extra base hit. He hit 136 in just 14 games.
That's his first collegiate home run, or home run at the collegiate level, if you will. And what a way to make an impact. 1-2 count here to Walker. Grounded over to short. Croce fields cleanly, throws to first in time, but not before the Mohawks do some damage. 5 runs in the top half of the first, all stemming from the error by Danny Barbero at third base. We head to the bottom of the first. Mohawks up by 5. Back here in Saugerties, Dan Shalom with you, alongside Nick Zuppi in the Pack Hub broadcast booth. And Nick, I'm still taking in the damage the Mohawks did there in the top half of the first. 5 runs on offensively. And let's take a look. at the lineup for them. Luis Rodriguez will lead things off. Nick Croce in the 2-hole. Travis Hobbins-Sievkin batting 3. Back-to-back games with a home run for him. Danny Barbero in the cleanup spot. He's going to want to make up for that error in the field. Then it's Justin Ford in the 5-hole, batting just around 475. Casey Comiskey down there at 6. Jack Painter, Logan Sanchez, and Gabe Cavazzoni to round things off. Nick, the interesting thing about this Stallions lineup, and we'll get to the Mohawk arm in a second, they only put up 4 runs at the Boonville Lumberjacks the other day. And this is a team outside of that Boonville game that put up double-digit runs in the 3 previous ones.
They do it by stealing bases and drawing walks. Thus far this season, they haven't been a team that really hits the ball far over the fence or in the gaps. They really don't go the extra base outside of stealing bases. And when they draw walks, they go from first to second that way. Pitch by pitch, batter by batter, pass the baton mentality.
Sam Felice on the mound for the Mohawks, his first start for Amsterdam.
Felice is just finished up his redshirt sophomore year at Siena, where he saw very minimal action. He only pitched an inning and a third, gave up 4 earned runs just this past spring.
Stallions are going to need more than a spark at the top of the lineup from Luis Rodriguez, who has been great for this team this year. He'll take a first pitch strike. Against Boonville the other night, 0 for 4, did walk and came around to score, but Stallions are going to need more tonight out of everybody in this lineup, not just Rodriguez, if they want to make it competitive. It's already 5-0. That one misses down low for ball 1. Rodriguez in the portal, played at Marist this past season, batted .305, which was second best on the squad. Chops this one foul, and the count goes to 1-2.
Rodriguez was a do-it-all guy in his 2 years at Marist. He hit some home runs. He hit 10 between the 2 seasons, stole a lot of bases, played great defense, and thus far this summer for Saugerties, Stallions fans have already seen all those tools.
As a 263 average, laces this one right past the second baseman Young, and it's a leadoff single for Rodriguez, just what the doctor ordered for the Stallions. Nick Croce will be next. We've talked about Croce a lot, Nick. He's been a guy that's driven in runs for this team, 6 RBIs already on the year, and just someone that is making solid contact and not trying to do too much at the plate.
He's had consistent at-bats. Every at-bat that he's had this season, you feel like has been a quality AB. Whether he moves a runner, drives a runner in, gets on base, gets out. Every at-bat that he's had thus far, you feel like there's some level of productivity.
Cuts and misses at that one in the dirt. First strike 1. And Croce from Chipola College, where he batted .228, but this season has already been showing better numbers. Rodriguez gets his lead off of first, and they'll give a checkup on him. He was leaning a little bit there. And Rodriguez, a speed threat. In the game a couple of days ago against Glens Falls, racked up 4 stolen bases. He was dashing all over. This one bounces right in front of Walker. Rodriguez will move up 90 feet for free.
Rodriguez actually thought Felice was going to pick off there. The pitch was going to the catcher, and Rodriguez was pretty much on first base. So right there, his speed on full display with the pass ball.
Now an RBI spot for Nick Croce as the Stallions try to break some of this Mohawk lead that's standing at 5-0. This one's fouled off to the right side for strike 2. 2-2 count. Croce trying to get something going here for the Stallions. Mohawks are used to being up early on the road, outscoring teams 25-5 away from Shuttleworth Park this year. That one misses upstairs, and the count goes full. Rodriguez leads off of second. Full count. Here's the pitch. Misses upstairs, and now the Stallions with a little bit of traffic on the base pass. They have runners at first and second with their hottest bat, Travis Hobbit-Siefkin, coming to the dish.
Back-to-back games with a home run. This guy has quickly climbed the ranks of all the team stats. He has a 500 batting average. He has the only 2 home runs for the Stallions to go along with the team-leading 8 RBIs.
And if there's a time to make it 3 home runs in a row, the time is now, trailing 5-0 in the first.
Favorable matchup as well with the lefty on the mound facing the righty hitter.
He fouls that one straight back, and you could see it on his face. Hobbit-Siefkin wants that one back.
Fastball middle. You don't get that pitch very much if you're a hitter.
And this is Felice's first start in the PGCBL, only pitched an inning and a third at Siena this past season. He was on that one as well, just a little bit late, and the count's quickly 0-2.
Going back to Felice, he had an injury back when he was a freshman at Pitt before he transferred to Siena that kept him out all of that freshman year.
Runners are at first and second, 0-2 count to Hobbit-Siefkin. The pitch is lined out to left field, giving chase long. That one's going to get down. Coming around to score is Rodriguez. Going over to third is Croce. He will stop there. It's an RBI double for Travis Hobbit-Siefkin, and the Stallions are on the board. It's 5-1.
The hot streak continues. Hobbit-Siefkin now with an RBI in 4 straight games for the Stallions. Barbero looks to follow him next.
And what a prime spot for Barbero to make up for that error in the top half of the first, which allowed the Mohawks to get that grand slam. Runners are at second and third for the Stallions here with nobody out. This one's lined straight up the middle. Croce will come home to score. Hobbit-Siefkin is waved home. Here's the throw. In time, he's out. Filippi with a nice play. The Stallions still get one. It's 5-2. And that was an aggressive send right there at third base.
Colin Norton, third base coach. I personally disagree with this send. You're down by 4. That run means nothing right now. There's no outs. Felice really hasn't developed any momentum. Why would you give them an out?
And now we'll see Amsterdam have a mound visit as they're already getting an arm going in the bullpen. And what a crucial out that is now. Runner's not sitting at third. You have one down. The double play is in order, but Nick, still have Justin Ford coming to the plate, which is the second best bat stats-wise in the Stallions lineup so far this season.
More importantly, though, he has experience against Amsterdam. He played in all 11 games for the Stallions last year against these very Mohawks, and he had 7 RBIs in those 11 games.
And we know that head coach Keith Griffin has a very short leash on his guys out there on the mound. If he's not seeing something that he likes, he will make a move to the bullpen. Ford takes a first pitch strike right down Broadway. And Ford sporting that .474 average, which we talked about in the Archtop Fiber pregame show. He's been excellent so far for this team, and they need him to come through now, because that one misses low in the zone. And even in Boonville the other day, when this team faced some adversity, he still went 2 for 3 with the double.
Once again, Ford was the big run producer in that one.
Give a check on Barbero. He's in there safely. Stallions have scratched across 2 here in the bottom of the first to pull within 3, but an aggressive send call has one out on the board. Ford, a big cut and a miss. First strike 2.
Way late on that fastball. Felice dialed it up on that one.
Seems like Felice is starting to find his stuff following the mound visit. The 1-2. Misses down and away, and the count's 2-2. Like you mentioned, Ford has played in these big games before, even had 2 home runs against Amsterdam in the playoff game last season.
He was first team all PGCBL last year for the Stallions.
And you don't get that honor by just showing up against the Glens Falls and the Oneanas of the world. He was someone that stepped up clutch for this team in multiple instances last season against Amsterdam, trying to do the same here in a 3-2 count with Barbero over at first. The pitch. Misses down low. Ford works the walk, and now the Stallions bring the tying run to the plate here in the bottom of the first. Casey Comiskey next. 0 for 4 with a strikeout against the Lumberjacks on Thursday night, so looking to bounce back. And a great spot to do it here with runners at first and second and 1 out. Off speed's in there for strike 1.
And a great spot to pick up his first RBI of the season. Kaminsky just 1 for 18 to start this summer. Like I said, great opportunity to get RBI number 1 with Barbero out on second base.
And that Seton Hall had a .387 batting average, so a guy who consistently hits well at the Division I level pokes this one to the left side, foul. And I think it's just a matter of time here till he gets going. You know that there's going to be slumps, even though it's a 44-game sprint of a season. There's still going to be blips where there's struggles, and it seems like Comiskey's going through that early on.
There's a reason why he's still batting 6th, because he's a very capable hitter in the box.
Takes that one high and away. Count goes to 1-2. 52 RBIs is the number that should be highlighted from his college season this past year. Was a guy who loved to drive in runs and even had 6 home runs in the final 19 games of the season. Pokes this one out to left field. It's going to get down. They're going to send Barbero home. There will be no throw. The Stallions are within 2.
Casey Kaminsky picks up his first RBI this summer. Maybe that swing will get him off the slump a little bit, out of the slump a little bit.
And Nick, regardless of what the score is at the end of this bottom of the first, what a response here from the Stallions to come and compete and not go down 1-2-3 after just that knockout punch in the top of the first with Amsterdam putting up 5.
That's the biggest thing, like you said. there's a ball game, right? Stallions could have easily folded, easily just thrown in the towel, down 5-0 in the first. But they didn't. They came back, answered with a big number, and if you're Svensson, the pitcher, you got to be more motivated to get this offense back in the dugout if this inning ever ends.
Jack Painter at the dish. He is the DH tonight. Has been struggling similar to Comiskey to start this season, only sporting the 188 batting average, but had an OPS over 1,000 in high school. Didn't play that much at Wofford this past season where he played his college ball. So another guy looking for that spark, and maybe similar to Comiskey, it can come here in the bottom of the first.
Despite the 188 batting average, Painter has done a great job of getting on base. He leads the team in walks with 8, which is good for a 458 OBP thus far for the Stallions.
Ford is at second. Comiskey at first, 1 out. Stallions have plated 3. Off speed fooled Painter right there, and the count's 2-2. We see a righty getting warm in the Amsterdam bullpen. 2-2. Misses high and upstairs. Stallions 1 pitch away from loading the bases. Logan Sanchez, the catcher, waiting on deck.
Ford has 5 stolen bases out on second. Comiskey has 2. I wonder if the runners will be in motion to stay out of the double play.
They will not. Pitch misses upstairs, and the bases are loaded. Stallions with a perfect chance to tie up this game. There's only 1 out in the inning. Logan Sanchez, the man tasked to bring some Stallions home. Has 3 RBIs so far this season, has only played 3 games, this being his 4th. In that time, a .250 batting average. And you know that Amsterdam is ready to make that move to the pen if things are to get out of hand. They still do have the opportunity to get out of this with a double play. Force at any base. Sanchez cuts one foul to the left side, and it's 0-1.
First pitch swinging for Sanchez. The 3 guys prior all took the first pitch, so Sanchez must have really liked that one.
And just need to get a ball to the outfield here if you're the Stallions to at least score 1. That one's bounced in front of the plate. Walker with a nice block, and that's something that Amsterdam has to be wary of. A ball past Walker at home plate, and Ford's going to come home and score.
There is padding on the backstop, which has played a factor, especially last game for the Stallions. You saw the great bounce off the backstop go directly back to the catcher.
Fastball comes right back to you. Some off-speed junk in the dirt. Different story. Sanchez with a good eye takes that one upstairs, and now he's got a hitter count. It's 2-1.
Sanchez, another guy who didn't really see action this past spring at college. He just completed his freshman year at Wofford.
Felice looking to work out of the jam. Finds the zone for strike 2. And now the pressure gets even higher. It's a 2-2 count with the bases loaded. Stallions trailing by 2. Sanchez looking to drive some runs home. Here's the pitch. High and away, and the count is full. Nowhere to put Sanchez. If he's walked, Ford will come home to score. Stallions searching to tie up this game after going down 5-0 in the top of the first. Here's the pitch. Sanchez just stays alive.
Not his best swing right there, way out in front of the breaking ball, but like you said, just stays alive, doing
That's
whatever he can.
Doesn't matter. Ford is over at third. Comiskey at second. Painter at first. Sanchez at the dish in a full count. Stallions trailing by 2. The pitch. Looped out into right field. McCrane going back. It'll be deep enough to score a run. Ford is coming home. Comiskey will stay at second. It's a 1-run game.
Now, going back to earlier in the inning, if Hobbins-Siefken is not sent rounding third and scoring, he was gunned down at the plate, there's only 1 out, and it might even be a tie ball game at 5 right now.
A couple of self-inflicted wounds have hurt the Stallions here early on in the top of the first. The error by Barbero, and then here in the bottom half, a controversial send around third base for Haben Siefkin. He resulted in being the first out of this inning, but the Stallions have still plated 2 since then. The 9-hole hitter, Gabe Cavazzoni, at the dish, another Seton Hall guy, one of 3 in the starting lineup tonight. Runners are at first and second, 2 outs. And Falaise has struggled with the control. He's issued 2 big walks in the bottom of the first and has put himself in some trouble.
Specifically with the fastball, he's missed up and away to righties and up and into lefties.
2-0 count to Cavazzoni. He takes a strike, and he's someone that also needs to get going for this team. Only has 2 hits so far this season. 1 for 4 against Boonville 3 days ago. A big cut and a miss. And now Falaise is just 1 pitch away from getting out of this nightmare bottom of the first.
Cavazzoni, the number 9 hitter in the Stallion lineup, has the top of the order looming. If you're Falaise, you have to do everything in your power to get Cavazzoni out.
Comes set at the belt, now deals. Misses down low, and it's a full count with 2 outs. The runners will be released. And you really, if you're Falaise, do not want Luis Rodriguez coming back up here in the bottom of the first inning.
Rodriguez lined a single in between first and second, his last at bat.
The payoff. Misses upstairs, and the bases are juiced for the second time in this inning for the leadoff man, Luis Rodriguez. It's been the walk stick. That's what's hurt Sam Falaise so far, and we'll see another mound visit here for the Mohawks. Pitching coach Zach Breen coming out to talk things over. And we're already going to see Sam Falaise leave the mound. It's a Dallas Hot Wieners call to the bullpen here in the bottom half of the first. Stallions have plated 4. They have the bases loaded with 2 outs. Back here in Saugerties, new pitcher on the mound for the Mohawks is Matt Scambati.
Matt Scambati, 6'2", 195, just completed his freshman year at Stony Brook, where he appeared in 12 games, all out of the bullpen. Excuse me, he did make 2 starts with an ERA of 8.4.
Scambati is one of the most sound arms in the Mohawks bullpen. Did play against Oneonta in the Amsterdam opener, and that one 2 1/3 innings pitched, no runs given up, and 6 strikeouts. Got credited with the win in that one as well. He'll have to face Luis Rodriguez, who started this entire inning for the Stallions with a single and eventually came around to score to be the first run of this game. Stallions have the tying run at third, the go-ahead run at second with 2 out. Rodriguez takes a first pitch ball. Felice only gets through 2/3 of an inning here in the bottom half of the first and really struggled with the walks. Issued 3 of them, and that put himself into some trouble, but also gave up 4 hits.
Some loud contact.
This one's grounded to the left side, foul.
Loud contact, right? Siefkin roped one. Barbero lined one up the middle, almost took off Felice's head that scored a run.
And just the guy you want up in this situation if you're the Stallions. Rodriguez batted .305 in Marist this past season and is one of the most disciplined hitters. Fouls that one straight back and counts 1 and 2. Also had 27 RBIs with the Red Foxes. And what a fight out of these Stallions here in the bottom of the first, trailing 5-0 to your rival. But they were ready to come out and hit. 1-2. Rodriguez smokes this one into left field. Long going to the track. It is just foul. And that one landed in foul territory, probably 10 feet shy of the wall.
Rodriguez almost gave the Stallions a 7-5 lead with that swing.
Almost had it. You can see that Rodriguez is seeing the baseball well here in this at-bat. Fouled one straight back, and then nearly had one that went out of the ballpark. Still has 2 strikes here with 2 outs in the bottom of the first. Stallions trailing by 1. That one misses down low. Rodriguez with fantastic discipline. Knew coming out of the pitcher's hand he was not going to swing at that.
He only had 24 strikeouts despite playing in 49 games this past spring in college. So if this is the right guy at the dish for the Stallions.
2-2. Once again down low, and now a walk to Rodriguez brings home the tying run. And Nick, I'm not very good at math, but that means he only struck out 24 out of around 150 times. Pretty good if you ask me.
Pretty good if you ask me as well.
It's a full count. The bases are loaded. 2 outs here in the bottom of the first. Runners will go. Here's the pitch. This one is smacked into left field. Coming home to score is Comiskey. Here comes Painter. The Stallions have the lead. It's 6-5.
What an answer. 5 in the top half and now 6 in the bottom half. The Stallions offense coming out swinging in this one.
And it's really Luis Rodriguez started things here in the bottom of the first with the single. Knocks in a 2 RBI single. He's 2 for 2 on the night, and it's only the bottom of the first.
Going back to earlier in the inning, Siefkin gets gunned down at home. That's a free out that they gave Amsterdam.
The Stallions trailed 5-0 in this ballgame and now lead at 6-5. Croce at the dish, pops this one up in foul territory. Touchstone fields it cleanly, but the Stallions come right back from 5-0 down. They have a 1-run lead as we head to the second. Maybe a little bit too loud. All right, ready? Whenever. Top half of the second. And Nick, erase everything that you thought in your mind coming into this game. It's a 6-5 ball game. Stallions trailed 5-0. And at this point, it seems like we should just start brand new. Stallions have basically a 1-0 lead here in the second.
Happy birthday, Steven Svensson, even though it isn't his birthday. Gives up 5 runs in the top half, and then his offense responds with 6 to somehow give him the lead for the second inning. Steven Svensson has got to be ecstatic right now.
And if you're Svensson, too, it's a clean slate now. The first inning's gone. Who cares? He has a 1-run lead now, and probably the last thing he was thinking walking into that dugout in the bottom of the first that he was going to have.
And if you're the Stallions, this is the right guy to have on the mound. Coming into this one, he had the best start of any Stallions pitcher through the first 6. 4 innings, 6 strikeouts, just 1 earned. So if you're Svensson, get into a rhythm. Start attacking these Amsterdam hitters.
The 9-hole hitter, Brad Coltis, will start things off here in the top of the second for Amsterdam. This one's grounded to Barbero. Throw is over Comiskey's head, and he's off the back. Second error on Barbero in just 2 innings here tonight. He's struggling over there, Nick, to start things off.
His second game of the year playing third base, where he didn't make an error last game, but 2 already thus far here in the top of the second.
And we saw how the E5 last inning came back to hurt the Stallions. There were 2 out, and then an E5 that Chris Holcraft reached on eventually led to an Amsterdam grand slam. Top of the order here for the Mohawks. Luke Filippi at the dish. He fouls this one back for a first pitch strike. And Nick's felt like we played a whole game of baseball, and it's only been 1 inning.
I mean, that first inning took just about 45 minutes.
And if you thought the other night was a late one where it went 3 hours and 40 against Glens Falls, buckle in for tonight. Filippi lays down the bunt. That one rolls foul, and the count's 0-2.
Good try on the bunt by Filippi. Svensson, a guy who falls off to the first base side. Filippi tried to drag bunt it with Barbero playing a little bit behind the base.
He was playing on the dirt there. Wasn't even on the grass. Last thing he was expecting, but we know that Keith Griffin, the head coach for the Mohawks, loves to play small ball. So not surprising that he had Filippi lay down the bunt right there. 0-2 count. Coltis over at first.
When these two teams met last year in the PGCBL semis, the Mohawks scored 3 runs just off of bunts alone.
This one's chopped over to Svensson. He will take it. Seemed at first that Comiskey could, but it's a productive out number 1 here for the Mohawks as Coltis sits over at second with 1 out.
For the Mohawks, it's the right guy in the right spot at the right time. Brandon McCrane, he had a stand-up triple just an inning ago off Svensson, got a fastball and did not miss it.
And that one was probably about 5 feet away from going out of the park. Was hit to the deepest part of the ballpark in there in center field. Rodriguez didn't even have an eye on it until it came down. Tying run is at second for the Mohawks here in the top of the second. This one is fouled off the umpire for strike 1. And McCrane has just been tearing it up, Nick, coming into this game. .575 average on the year, leading the PGCBL East.
Last year, Amsterdam had the MVP in Cade Laidhoff. This year, it looks like they're going to have the MVP again in Brandon McCrane.
And McCrane was rated by Perfect Game as the number 4 third baseman in Alabama coming out of high school and is showing why early on this season with the Mohawks. Here's the pitch. Misses down low. 1-1 count. And Nick, for Svensson, it's got to be a little bit strange, right? You head into that dugout in the bottom of the first, and you're down by 5, and now you're out there with the lead, but it just happens so quickly. It's got to settle in a little bit here.
I'm looking from a continuity perspective, right? You come out of the bullpen hot, first inning, longer first inning. You're well warmed up by the end of that one. Last inning, a very long inning from his offense. He's in the dugout for a long time, so I wonder, can't see it from our angle, I wonder if he's moving around, maybe playing a little catch in between innings, especially when Saugerties played 6 runs like they did last inning.
Still searching for his first strikeout of the night, has a chance to get one here against the Mohawks' best hitter. 1-2 count with Coltis over at second. The pitch. Off-speed froze McCrane, but it's at the top of the zone. And the count stays at 2-2.
Svensson working very closely. First base is open, so a walk to McCrane would not be the worst thing in the world for the Stallions.
2-2 pitch. This one's hit over to second. A diving play there by Cavazzoni. He can't grab it. Coming around to score is Cultus, and we have a tie game.
Brandon McCrane doing what Brandon McCrane does, and that is damage. RBI, 2 hits already, triple and a single, back-to-back ABs. McCrane is on in this one.
And here's the thing, Nick. Danny Barbero has been hurting this Stallion squad runs-wise early on. His E5 from the last inning resulted in a grand slam, and the E5 to lead things off here in the top of the second results in Cultus coming home to tie this game. Jake Long, the left fielder, at the dish. Second time he's at the plate tonight at a sac fly in the first, which was the play that resulted in the first run of this game for the Mohawks.
But even that one was lined. Ford made a nice running play on it to at least get an out despite them scoring.
This one's tasered over into right field. Haben Siefkin will play it on a hop. Going over to third is McCrane. And now there's some trouble that Steven Svensson has to work out of. Runners at the corners with 1 out here in the top of the second.
No action either in the Stallions bullpen. It's only a matter of time before they get a guy in there to come in and help Svensson.
And we already saw the Mohawks make a call to the bullpen in the bottom of the first, bringing on Matt Scambatti. See how long Svensson has before he gets pulled from this game. Stallions still do have the double play in order here against Chris Holcraft, who reached on the E5 in the top half of the first. Came around to score on that grand slam. That one's in there for strike 1. And Svensson against Oneana the other day was so dominant. 6 strikeouts in 4 innings pitched. Is lacking some of that put-away stuff here tonight. As we see the time here on the field, Brandon McCrane is down on a knee, pulling at his left shoulder. And this could be a brutal break here for the Amsterdam Mohawks.
Anytime you lose your best hitter, it's just terrible. I mean, we're going to see a runner come out of the dugout for McCrane. It looks like he's going to be taken out of this one.
He's going to come out of this game for the Mohawks, and that changes things drastically. We saw a similar thing the other night, Nick, where Michael Sweeney, the outfielder for Glens Falls, who was batting 5 for 5 coming into the game, had to also leave after hitting a stand-up double into center field. And we hope all is okay with Brandon McCrane as he leaves the field.
Nobody likes injuries, but if you're a Stallions fan, you got to be a little happy just because they don't have to play against this great talent anymore.
McCrane, a generational talent so far in the PGCBL with that 575 average, and already tonight a triple and an RBI single. Has been tearing up this league early on. Sebastian Harden, who played with the Mohawks last year, into the game to pinch run over at third and will eventually replace McCrane in the bottom half of the second defensively. There is some rain coming down here at Cantine Field. A mist, but still some precipitation. Svensson still looking to get out of this inning. There's runners at the corners. Holcraft at the dish. Swings at the breaking ball, missing. 0-2 count. And maybe that takes the pressure off a little bit for Svensson now. With McCrane out of the game, a guy who's knocked him around a little bit early on. Definitely changes things holistically here in this game. The 0-2. Chopped over to third base. Barbero can't grab it. Past his glove. Coming in to score is Harden. Mohawks have the lead. Going over to second is Long. It's a stand-up double for Holcraft. And, Nick, it has been a rough day over there at third for Barbero.
That one wasn't even hit particularly hard either. This inning, McCrane lined one, Long lined one. That one was a 3-hopper to Barbero. That just got past him down the line.
And that was a 1-2 count as well that Svensson was working with. Seemed like he left something in the zone that he definitely wants back at this point. 7-6 ball game here in the top of the second. Mohawks threatening to add more. Bray Touchstone, the first baseman, to the dish. Chops this one to Over to first to Comiskey. He will step on the bag. Run will come home to score. Amsterdam adds one more. 8-6 ball game.
Productive out by Touchstone. First pitch swinging, ground ball to first base, scores the run.
It's an 8-6 ball game. 14 runs have come across, and we're only in the top half of this second. Also hitting the 8 o'clock mark here at Cantine Field. We started things an hour ago and are only through a full inning and a third. Big cut and a miss there from Jaden Harriel. He was the one that loaded the bases in the top half of the first before that John Young grand slam, which feels like it happened eons ago at this point. 0-1. Svensson finds the zone for strike two, and this one could be a confidence booster here for Svensson if he can get the K.
Back-to-back hitters. He's been way ahead. 0-2 now on Harriel. 1 the previous at-bat on Touchstone.
0-2. And the off-speed clips the elbow guard of Harriel. Not what Svensson was looking for in an 0-2 count. He is visibly frustrated out there on the mound. And now the man who took him deep in the top half of the first, John Young, will come to the dish.
Svensson, it seemed like, thought Harriel leaned into that one right off the elbow guard, just dropped the elbow right into the breaking ball.
Young hit a grand slam in the top half of the first with 2 out. That made the game 5-0 at the time. Stallions responded with 6 of their own in the bottom half of the first. Runners are at the corners here with 2 outs. That one's in there for strike one. And what a start for John Young. Coming from Alabama, has never hit a home run at the collegiate level. In his first at-bat as a Mohawk with the bases loaded, hits a grand slam. Can't make that stuff up. Seems like Svensson pitching around him a little bit here.
You mentioned him not homering last year at Alabama, but he was a very highly touted prospect coming out of high school. He was the second-ranked shortstop and number 22 ranked overall recruit in New Jersey by Perfect Game USA.
1-1. Finds the outside corner for strike two. Svensson just 1 strike away from getting out of this inning and limiting the damage. Mohawks have plated 3 here in the top half of the second. Runners are at the corners. Svensson will step off. Young, in his first game for the Mohawks, has already made more than an impact, looking to do more here in the top of the second. The pitch fouled off, and the count will stay at 1-2.
Big cut from Young on that one. Really liked it.
And Young, a guy who's from Cherry Hill, New Jersey, and decided to go south for school at Alabama. Back here closer to home for the summer. 1-2. That's where Svensson has gotten both the strike calls in this at-bat. Was looking for it again, but doesn't get it there. Counts 2-2.
Really wanted that one. You could see on the follow-through, he after the grimace after the follow-through, Svensson really wanted that one, but he needed that one, more importantly, get out of this awful inning.
Still has a chance to get out of it right here in a 2-2 count. This one smacked to right field. Haben Siefkin is right there. But not before the Mohawks add 3 more. They have the lead once again. They're up by 2 as we head to the bottom of the second. Mohawks leading the Stallions 8-6 here in the bottom of the second in what's already felt like a marathon of a game. 14 runs on the board. Stallions coming to bat here in the bottom of the second, and it'll all start with Travis Hobbins-Siefken, the 3-hole hitter, coming to the dish for the second time tonight in the bottom of the second. Saugerties batted around and had their leadoff and 2-hole hitter come to the dish in the bottom of the first, in which they plated 6.
Croce made the last out, a foul out to first on a first pitch fastball that he just simply missed.
And the Stallions might be down by 2 right now, but to even put a 6-run inning on the board against anybody is impressive, especially against the Mohawks to take the lead. That, of course, being in the bottom of the first. Mohawks added 3 in the top of the second. Hobbins-Siefken really spark-plugged that bottom of the first as he had the RBI double, which brought home Luis Rodriguez. Matt Scambatti still on the bump here for the Mohawks. Sam Falaise started this game, only got through 2 1/3 innings, giving up 4 hits, 6 earned runs, and 3 walks. An ugly night for him.
Falaise, a guy who didn't really see much action. He hasn't really seen much action in the past 3 years, actually, coming off of an upper body injury that he had in 2022. Kept him out the whole year. A rude welcoming to the PGCBL for Falaise.
And Sebastian Harden does replace Brandon McCrane out there in right field after McCrane left the game with injury. He was pulling at his left shoulder after getting to third base in the top half of the second. We hope all's okay with him. He is the hottest bat by average in this Mohawks lineup and was 2 for 2 with a triple and a single already today. 3-1 to Hobbins-Siefken. That one catches the top of the zone. He didn't agree with it, and the count goes full. Hobbins-Siefken rocketed a ball to the outfield in his last AB, driving home a run. Lays off that one. It's a leadoff walk, and the Stallions have a base runner here in the bottom of the second. Luis Rodriguez, the leadoff man, also reached base in the bottom half of the first. That sparked the 6-run bottom half of the first, which has all of the Stallions' runs on the board so far.
The walk also sparked it. Sam Falaise walked 4 hitters in just 2 outs.
Danny Barbero to the dish now. He takes one upstairs. At the dish tonight, he's been great. An RBI single in the bottom of the first, which made the game 5-2 at the time, but in the field has already booted 2 balls, which has resulted in some Stallions errors. Booted 2 balls that has resulted in some Mohawks runs. That one's in there for a strike. Barbero only had a hit on the season coming into this game. Now has 2 with the RBI single in the bottom of the first, upping that average. Was batting an 0.91 coming into this one, and they're keeping a close eye over there at Hobbins-Siefken at first base.
He's got 4 stolen bases this season, so a very capable runner for the Stallions on first base to start the inning.
Saugerties has the tying run at the plate. That one misses down low. It's 2-1. Stallions went 3-2 here at home against the Mohawks last year as they're keeping a very close eye at Hobbins-Siefken. They don't want him moving at all. We're only outscored by the Mohawks 26-21, so only a 5-run differential between these two teams here at home. This one smacked in between short and third for a single. Both runners now aboard for the Stallions, and a time now really for Justin Ford to attack with 2 runners on and nobody out here in the bottom of the second.
Ford had a good AB his last time up, drew a big walk that just more importantly kept the baton going. It kept the Stallions lineup just getting through the lineup, batter-to-batter approach.
Nick, this is a shootout here tonight. Stallions putting on the pressure, nobody out. Mohawks have played at 8. Saugerties 6 in the bottom of the first, and we're only here in the bottom of the second.
I think this game might turn into who has more pitchers on the roster.
Definitely could. Stallions trying to tie up this game. Ford takes a first pitch strike. And the battles between these two sides last year were either extremely tight or complete blowouts. Stallions were beat here 10-0, but also beat the Mohawks 8-0 here at home. And then on the road, Stallions' worst defeat of the season to Amsterdam overall was an 18-2 defeat at Shuttleworth Park. 0-1. Misses upstairs for ball 1. And, Nick, you know that the Stallions would love to get the first win against the Mohawks this year, especially given the fact that Amsterdam has not lost this season. They sit at 6-0.
Anytime you can get the first game against your rival, you just feel like you have that edge going into the rest of the season. These are two teams that played 11 times, including postseason play, so this will not be the last time these two teams meet this season.
They were supposed to play last Friday up at Shuttleworth Park. That one was rained out and moved to a later date. Ford takes a strike, and it's 1-2. Haben Siefken is at second. Barbero over at first. Stallions trying to tie up this game here in the bottom of the second. Scambatti has done a nice job in relief so far. Hasn't allowed any runs of his own. That one misses away. It's 2-2.
Good discipline from Ford to lay off the breaking ball in the dirt.
He's one of, if not the most disciplined hitter on this team. Came into this one batting .474. 2-2. Cue balls one to the right side. Foul, just staying alive.
He has walked 4 times in addition to those 9 hits. Also been hit by a pitch once. Good for a .583 on base percentage through the first 6.
Pretty good if you ask me. Ford already has a walk in this game and has come around to score. The pitch. Misses upstairs. And now Scambatti putting himself in more trouble, similar to what he did against Haben Siefken.
Action warming already in the Amsterdam bullpen. This would be their 3rd pitcher already in this game. And this is only the top of the second inning. Excuse me, the bottom.
The payoff. Misses upstairs, and the bases are loaded with nobody out here for Casey Comiskey. And Comiskey was struggling coming into this game, Nick. Only 1 hit on the year in 18 at-bats, but really came up clutch for the Stallions in the bottom of the first with an RBI single, trying to do the same thing here in this at-bat. This one misses down low for ball 1.
It's a big confidence boost, more importantly. We talked about it in his previous at-bat. This is the guy who has hit. This past spring at Seton Hall, we're going to say it again, he hit .387 in all 53 games. So this is a very capable hitter in the box.
Chops that one foul. The count's 1-1. Stallions need to score at least a run here with the bases loaded and nobody out. Would be a complete waste if they can't scratch anything across. Comiskey skies this one to right field. Harden coming in. He will make the play. Haben Siefken will stay at third. And a big out number 1 here for the Mohawks.
Scambatti got the weak contact from Comiskey. Just lazy fly ball to right field. Harden made the nice running play in on it.
Jack Painter to the dish now, the DH. Walked in the bottom of the first. And eventually came around to score. Nick, another guy that could really use a clutch hit to get himself going.
Only 2 RBIs in the first 6.
Hits this one over to the right side. Touchstone botches it. 2 runs are going to come home to score. The Stallions have tied this game at 8.
Defense, defense, defense. Both teams making errors, costing their pitching runs in this one.
Nick, it's 8-8, and we're not even through 2 innings. Is it just the fact that all these hitters are seeing the ball great, or are the pitchers struggling at this point?
I think it's the hitters. Pitchers are throwing strikes. They're not really walking a lot of guys. It hasn't been a walk fest. There are some, yes, but the hitters are putting it in play. They're putting good swings on it. We've seen at least 3 extra base hits already thus far this game.
This one is tasered to the left side, foul by Logan Sanchez. Nick, if we keep the current pace of each team scoring 8 runs per 2 innings, we're going to be in a 32-run ball game by the end of this one. This has just been an offensive onslaught on both sides.
I don't even think I've put up 32 runs in MLB The Show, playing as an MLB The Show team.
I agree with you, partner. Logan Sanchez, the catcher at the dish, had a sac fly. This one is hit out into left center field. Long under it. Ford tagging. There will be no throw. Stallions in front. 9-8. That's 2 sac flies now for Sanchez, where he simply hasn't done too much. Just put a ball to the outfield and let whoever's at third do the rest.
This has been the Stallions' motto. Sanchez showing you what it is. Productive at-bats. 2 sac flies, like you said. Not trying to do too much. Just putting good, hard swing on the baseball and letting everything else take care of itself.
We got a 9-8 ball game on our hands. Stallions in the lead for the second time here tonight. Led 6-5 in the first. And now 9-8 here in the second. Gabe Cavazzoni, the second baseman at the dish. Every hitter on both sides has reached safely here tonight. Kind of crazy to think about. Just shows you how skilled these two teams are, and when they meet up, it's always a battle. Nearly a really good pickoff play over there on Painter at first base, but he is safe. Comiskey chops this one over to the third base side. Harriel throws across the diamond in time. But the Stallions take a 9-8 lead. Plate 3 here in the bottom of the second. They're in front as we head to the third. Welcome back to Saugerties. Dan Challen with you alongside Nick Zuppi in what has just been an offensive shootout through 2 innings. A 9-8 score line with the Stallions leading as we head to the top of the third. The catcher, Wes Walker, will lead things off here in the top half of the third. Amsterdam plating 5 in the first, 3 in the second, have led twice so far in this game, but every time that they've taken the lead, the Stallions have responded. A little bit surprising that Steven Svensson is still on the bump for Saugerties right now, even though he's given up 8 runs through 2 innings.
Speaking to head coach Colin Martin a couple of days ago, his biggest thing is it's early in the season. Let these guys get their innings, let them get their work.
And that's been something that we've seen throughout the Stallions game so far this year. They have a set pitchers that they're going to throw regardless of the situation from time to time. And that has been the case in a couple of the games so far. Going to be interesting to see if it's the same here tonight. Svensson down in a 2-1 count here to Wes Walker, who's behind the dish tonight. And Walker is one of the guys that played for Keith Griffin in the regular season at North Alabama. As he hits this one over to second, Cavazzoni is there to grab the line out. And there's one down here in the top of the third.
We've been waiting for it, and now there finally is action in the Stallion bullpen. Both a left-hander and a right-hander throwing for Saugerties.
Seems like Virgil Heath and Andrew Speranza warming in that Stallions bullpen. Brad Coltis, the DH at the dish, reached on an E5 to start things in the top half of the second, would eventually come around to score. And Nick, even for Svensson, just big to get the first out of this inning and not have traffic immediately that he has to deal with. This one's skied over to the right side. Comiskey is chasing. He's at the fence, won't have a play. It's 0-2.
Work the zone. That's Svensson's biggest key right now. Yes, he's gotten hit. Yes, he's even gotten hit hard. But you have to throw strikes, make Amsterdam put the ball in play, and let their offense beat you, not the walks or the hit by pitch.
Stallions have not retired 2 batters in a row here tonight against the Mohawks. Svensson looking for that here in an 0-2 count against Coltis. Deals. Strike 3, got him swinging. First K of the night for Svensson is a big one. There's 2 down as Luke Filippi, the center fielder, comes to the dish for the 3rd time tonight.
Wipeout breaking ball from Svensson. Started on the all the way in the right-handed batter's box, ended all the way in the left-handed batter's box. Svensson really spun it well on that one.
Filippi, the leadoff man, is 0 for 2 tonight. Pop out over to first and a ground out to Svensson, which he took to the bag last time up. 3rd time in 3 innings that Filippi has been at the plate. There is a new arm warming in the Mohawks bullpen as well. We'll see if Scambatti will go more in the bottom of the 3rd or if his night is over. 2-0 count here to Filippi. Fouls that one off to the right side. 2-1. Filippi did play in this league last year, spent his time with the Albany Baseball Club, which is no longer an organization, so moving over to Amsterdam here in 2025. He takes a strike, and the count's 2-2. Svensson now a pitch away from finishing this outing. Good or bad, can go off on a high and a 1-2-3 inning here in the 3rd.
It would be the first 1-2-3 frame for either team thus far.
The pitch. Misses down low with the breaking ball, and you can see he's slipping off the mound when he finishes.
The rain has stopped, but it's been raining a little bit through the first 3 thus far.
The payoff. Misses down low. Filippi reaches base for the first time tonight, and Sebastian Harden will now come to the dish, who replaced Brandon McCrane in the top half of the 2nd. And Harden spent his time with Amsterdam last summer as well. Overall in the regular season, had a .338 average. So a guy who can easily replace Brandon McCrane in the 2-hole. Going over to second is Filippi. Here's the throw down by Sanchez offline. A stolen base for Filippi, and now there's a runner in scoring position as the Mohawks look to try and tie up this game.
That's what Filippi does well. He gets on base. He's been walked 15 times through the first 6 games for Amsterdam, and then he steals second, sets the tone for everyone else to follow in the lineup at leadoff.
0-1. Breaking ball misses inside. It seems like Svensson is putting a lot of energy in right now. He's really trying to finish out this 3rd. Filippi is at second. breaking ball misses upstairs. It's 2-1.
More importantly, Svensson knows his offense is hot. He needs to get them back into the dugout and back in the batter's box.
Two-one. Svensson misses upstairs once again, and not a position here where you want to give Sebastian Harden something to hit. 7 extra base hits and a home run last season for the Mohawks. 11 RBIs in total, and this being an RBI situation with Filippi over there at second. Fastball misses outside for ball 4. If you're Colin Martin, you maybe think about a call to the bullpen here with 2 outs.
I would. Speranza's been throwing pretty much since the inning started, so it seems like he's ready to roll.
Jake Long at the plate. 1 for 1 tonight, has a sac fly as well. After retiring the first 2 batters of this inning, Svensson has dealt back-to-back walks. This one is hit down into the right field. Gap in there to make the play. No, it's off the wall. Abensiefke can't come up with it. Runners come home to score. Harden now coming. Throw is not in time. And just like that, the Mohawks take a 10-9 lead. And you really got to question now if Colin Martin should have pulled Svensson after that first walk being issued to Filippi. It's a 2 RBI double, and now we will see Colin Martin come out of the Stallions dugout. A batter too late for the Stallions' sake in this situation, but it's a Dallas Hot Wieners call to the bullpen. Steven Svensson's evening is over. 10 runs given up in total. Jake Long is still sitting over at second. 2 outs here. Third, we'll be right back. Back here in Saugerties, Dan Shalom with you alongside Nick Zuppi in the Pat Cup broadcast booth. Nick, new arm on the mound here for the Stallions is Andrew Speranza.
Speranza, a little bit of a smaller guy, 5'10", 175, just completed his sophomore year at Marist. But he is a returner for the Stallions. He played for Saugerties in 2024, where he made 8 relief appearances and 3 starts.
And in the last game, 3 innings pitched, no earned runs given up, so just the guy that the Stallions want to maybe calm things down scoreboard-wise here in the top of the third.
He had 4 strikeouts to go along with it, so he needs to force some swing and miss. Amsterdam has been all over Svensson thus far in the first 3 frames.
And this has been a seesaw of an evening so far. Both sides have scored in every frame that they've batted in thus far. Chris Holcraft will be the first to face Speranza here in the top of the third. Runner at second is Jake Long. He had a 2 RBI double, which came off the last pitch that Steven Svensson threw in this inning. Speranza, the Marist product, is a returner of the Stallions as well. He sported just above a 1 ERA last season with the Stallions in 21 1/3 innings pitched.
Both those hits being doubles. His 11 at-bats, opponents have an average of 182. Perfect situation to bring in a guy like Speranza.
1-0 count.
Has been pinpoint in his one appearance.
Mohawks already up to 10 runs on the evening. Stallions at 9. Just a high-scoring affair. Nick, we might be chasing the PGCBL record for runs scored in a single game.
19 through the first, not even through the first 3, 2.5. Definitely on pace to do so.
Rough outing for Svensson. 10 runs given up for him. 6 hits, a couple of errors. That led to a few of those coming across as well. Just could never find his rhythm. As a big cut and a miss right there by Holcraft makes the count 1-2. Speranza trying to limit the damage here in this top half of the third. The Mohawks have already plated 2. That both coming off the Jake Long 2 RBI double. Speranza comes set at the belt. Now deals. Strike 3, got him. Speranza comes into the game and strikes out the first batter he sees. The Mohawks scratch across 2 here in the top half of the third. They lead it 10-9.
Five, 6, 3, 1, 5, 4, 5, 6.
Back here in Saugerties, a 10-9 ball game. Dan Shallon with you alongside Nick Zuppi in the Pack Up broadcast booth. Nick, it's time for the Stallions to once again respond. They've trailed in every bottom half of the inning so far in this one.
But they've answered in every inning. The Mohawks put up 5 in the top half of the first. Saugerties answers with 6. Amsterdam takes the lead in the top half of the second. Stallions answer in the bottom half, take the lead right back.
It's truly been a seesaw effect here tonight between these two sides, and it is every single time they meet up. New pitcher on the mound here for the Mohawks is James Reddick, who spent last year with Amsterdam as well.
Reddick supported just over a 3 ERA for Amsterdam last year. Started 1 game, but pitched in 9, 8 out of the bullpen.
He will face Luis Rodriguez, the leadoff man. And Rodriguez tonight is 2 for 2. 2 singles with a couple Cantine Field multiple times. And only ended up giving a hit in his 2 outings combined here. No runs. So he's been sound here at Cantine Field. Mohawks looking for some calmness here in this game, especially given how many runs have been on the board for both sides. Rodriguez pulls back the bunt for ball 1. And just what you want to see from Luis Rodriguez after that 0 for 4 night in Boonville the other day, bouncing back big time. 2 for 2 already here tonight. This one smacked over to third. Harriel throws across the diamond in time. A quick out number 1. First time in this game that the Stallions haven't had the leadoff runner aboard.
Harriel playing in a little bit, preventing Rodriguez from dropping the drag bunt. Actually helped him. caught the big hop, one hop right into his glove, fired it across the diamond for the out.
Nick Croce, the shortstop, will be next. He walked in the first inning and eventually came around to score, marking the Stallions' second run of this ball game, which seems like ages ago at this point. Fouls this one back for strike one. A 1. Misses down low. Stallions getting back to their normal scoring rates after the Boonville game where they only played at 4, have already put up 9 here tonight. And they had 40 runs scored in the last 4 ahead of Boonville.
3 straight games where they scored double-digit runs.
Right down the middle for strike 3. Croce froze it. And for the first time tonight, the Mohawks have back-to-back outs.
Reddick comes out of the bullpen firing. That fastball just completely froze Croce in the box.
And Reddick last season for these Mohawks, the most he let up in a single outing was just 2 runs. So the Stallions need to knock him off the mound as fast as possible. Haben Siefkin with a big cut and a miss on the breaking ball for strike 1.
The top of the lineup certainly has been aggressive against Reddick, doing exactly what you said, trying to get him out of this game. Each batter so far has swung at the first pitch.
Haben Siefkin fouls this one back on the cusp of our first 1-2-3 inning here tonight at Cantine Field. Haben Siefkin 1 for 1 tonight, walked in his last at-bat, that being in the second, and then came around to score. The 0-2 misses down low for ball 1. The pitch. Off speed is popped out over to left field. Long is under it, and he makes the play. It's a 1-2-3, bottom of the third for James Reddick. The first 1-2-3 of this ball game. Nick Zuppi will have you in the top of the 4th as the Mohawks lead it by 1 here at Cantine Field.
Welcome back to Cantine Memorial Field. I'm Nick Zuppi alongside Dan Shallum, bringing you the top of the 4th between the Amsterdam Mohawks and the Saugerties Stallions. What a game we've had thus far. 10-9 through the first 3. Dan, how did it happen?
I'll tell you how it happened, Nick. An Amsterdam 5-run first, which included a grand slam, gave an early lead to the Mohawks. Then in the bottom half, Stallions rallied with the third half.
First pitch was an hour and a half ago, and we're only in the top of the 4th. Bray Touchstone will be the first batter for Amsterdam, facing Andrew Speranza in relief of Svensson. Touchstone, first pitch from Speranza is a fastball up and away, ball 1. Touchstone had a big error in the bottom of the second that led to 2 Stallion runs a couple frames ago. Speranza down in the count, 1-0. The 1-1 pitch, breaking fastball up and away, ball 2 on the first baseman. Touchstone thus far is 0 for 1 with a walk. He had an RBI ground out back in the second, and he eventually came around to score back in the first. Ahead in the count, 2-0. Speranza winds and fires. Fastball on the inside corner, strike 1 on Touchstone.
And Nick, in a game like this, you're just looking for some stability, and Speranza can provide that for you, especially given the amount of runs that the Stallions have already let up, 10 in total.
All charged to Steven Svensson. The 2-1 pitch is a fastball upstairs. Touchstone is way late, 2-2 now. Steve Svensson finished with a line of 2 2/3, 6 hits, 10 runs, 8 of them earned, 4 walks, and 1 strikeout.
Rough night for him. He'll bounce back in the next one.
Speranza's 2-2 pitch is outside 3-2, so Touchstone works the count back to full. Amsterdam has found themselves having the leadoff runner on in all 3 innings thus far in this one. Speranza ready. Gets the sign. Into his motion. Fastball is fouled away, so 3-2 once more on Touchstone.
And Nick, if you're the Stallions, you just need to see a 0 on the board for once in this game. They've let up runs in every inning so far. Just need to put a little bit of a bandage on things here early on.
Amsterdam pitcher James Reddick, who was in relief last inning, threw a 1-2-3 scoreless frame for the first scoreless frame of this game. The payoff is a fastball popped up down the right field line. 3 guys chasing after it. Cavazzoni running, makes the nice running play. Hat falling off and all. So for the first time all game, the Stallions retired the leadoff hitter. That time it was Touchstone.
Needed that one. And a nice play out there in right field. Stallions now with a chance to just calm down a little bit, and then they'll be good to go going forward.
Speranza in relief of Svensson faces 2 hitters. He struck 1 out to end the top of the third and gets Touchstone there. Up next to the dish will be the third baseman Jaden Harriel, wearing number 36 today. First pitch is low, ball 1. Harriel thus far is actually 0 for 0. He had a walk and eventually came around to score back in the first and was also hit by a pitch in the second. Behind in the count, 1-1. Speranza into his motion, throws a ball in the dirt. Ball 2 on the Mohawk third baseman.
But Speranza's already looked more settled than Svensson did in this game, locating in the zone, creating some weak contact. He's retired 2 straight batters.
One of them being a strikeout. Svensson only had 1 strikeout, and he faced the lineup 3 times through. 2 balls, no strikes. Speranza's pitch is a fastball on the inside corner, strike 1. Now that's a pitch we've seen him go to a lot thus far. 3 straight fastballs to Harriel, with numerous in the previous at-bat to Touchstone.
It's the thing that works for him best, Nick. It's his bread and butter, but he's going to try and fool Harriel here with the off-speed, in my opinion.
Speranza gets a check swing. He went around, strike 2 on Harriel, 2-2. So after being behind 2-0, Speranza works his way back to an even count. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out here in the top of the 4th.
It's an ongoing debate and a pretty silly one. So, yes, water's wet.
Speranza gets the sign and into his motion. The lefty gives up a base hit to Harriel. Oh, and it goes under Ford's glove. That'll allow Harriel to get to second. Rodriguez finally throws it in. So another Stallions error, giving Amsterdam more life offensively.
That's been a problem, Nick, so far in this game. And showing right there now with Mohawks having a runner at second. And we've seen how dangerous they've been so far in this game. And Justin Ford's not a guy who typically commits the errors. And for Speranza's sake, he's hoping now that Chong Young doesn't do what Chong Young did to Steven Svensson in the first and take him a yard following an error.
Third error of the game. Third baseman Danny Barbaro for the Stallions has 2. Ford picks up the third right there.
We talked about it in the pregame. Errors have been a problem. Led to a lot of runs up at Boonville. They had 3 and have 3 here tonight.
John Young is now in the box. Great scoop by Sanchez behind the dish, preventing Harriel from getting the third. Like you said, Dan, he got a first pitch fastball back in the top of the first and didn't miss it. Grand slam right over the right field center fence.
Speranza has a little bit of an advantage here in the lefty-lefty, so I don't think that'll be the same case, but already has a lot of pop, and lined one out to right field that was definitely going to be a hit, if not hit right at Travis Hobbins-Siefkin.
Speranza's 1-0 is a changeup in the dirt, ball 2. Speranza working very carefully on Young. First base is open due to the error, so I wonder if it's an intentional walk on the Mohawks second baseman.
Wouldn't be the worst thing in the world here for the Stallions. Would set up a force at any base on the infield.
Speranza behind in the count, 2-0. The pitch is a changeup in the dirt, ball 3.
And don't give anything to John Young to hit here. The bottom two in this lineup for the Mohawks tonight, 0 for 3.
In his second at-bat, Young lined one to right field. Looked like he was going to be extra bases, but Hobbins-Siefkin made a nice running play on it to retire the second baseman. 3-0 count on Young. 1 out, runner at second. Young had the green light, fouls one off of Sanchez's glove for strike 1. Young looking for catcher's interference. Going to have a conversation with home plate umpire right now. Interesting that you give Young the green light right there if you're...
And Young's taken just a walk around the left-handed batter's box. He thought for a second he was going to get first for free right there.
Their first game of the season at Mohawk Valley.
7 hits for Amsterdam, 6 for Saugerties, 10 runs for Amsterdam, 9 for Saugerties. Speranza ready. The 3-1 pitch is a changeup in the dirt, ball 4. Speranza wanted no part of Young, gives him the 5-pitch walk on that right there.
And I don't mind that whatsoever right there out of Speranza. No reason to give a dangerous guy like that who's made hard contact so far in this game anything to hit. And now you get to face Wes Walker, who's 0 for 2 tonight.
Walker had a ground out to short and also hit one hard, lined one out to Cavazzoni over at second base. Cavazzoni needed a nice play on it. Walker, though, he is experienced. He appeared in 36 games a season ago at the University of North Alabama. Runners on second and first. Harriel on second, Young on first. First pitch to Walker is a strike in there at the bottom corner of the zone for strike 1.
Stallions need to put a 0 on the board here in this top half of the 4th.
Speranza facing trouble for the first time all season. Last year he had 3 innings, pretty seamless, 2 hits, no runs, 4 strikeouts.
That all against Oneonta in the Stallions home opener.
Ahead on Walker, 0-1 with 1 out in the top of the 4th. Speranza ready, checks Harriel at second. The pitch is just outside, ball 1. Back-to-back fastballs for Speranza. That's been his pitch so far. We've seen numerous fastballs. Some working. Got lazy contact earlier in the inning to Bray touchstone. Popped out to second. That's the only out thus far. Followed by a Harriel single, which he advanced to second on Ford's E7 out and left. Followed by the Young walk. The 1-1. Popped up foul behind home plate, out of play. 1-2 now. Speranza ahead of Walker.
Need to put him away here. Speranza should go to the fastball here. It's been his best pitch so far in this outing, and just hammer it past Wes Walker.
Walker behind the dish, 6 foot, 220, just completed his freshman year at North Alabama, where he hit 209 and 110 at-bats, 23 hits. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out. Speranza checks on Harriel twice. The pitch, fastball up and away, ball 2.
It's a good waste pitch right there from Speranza. We knew that he was going to throw the fastball, but to not even make it competitive, why not in the 1-2 count? Amsterdam's made enough contact tonight. Try and get him to swing and miss.
Number 9 hitter Brad Coltis on deck, the designated hitter. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Speranza ready. The pitch, fastball in there. Strike 3. Walker goes down looking. Speranza picks up his second strikeout of the game. Now, more importantly, 2 outs for the Stallions here in the top of the 4th.
I think the home plate umpire didn't realize that there were 2 strikes out on the scoreboard. He did not have a strike 3 call right there, but it doesn't matter. Speranza gets his second strikeout of the night, and now a perfect chance to get out of this with a 0 on the board. Brad Coltis went down on strikes last time in the top of the 3rd.
He was also a beneficiary of a Danny Barbero error back in the second inning, and he eventually came around to score. So if you're Steven Svensson, this is a guy who you actually pitched well against. Lazy ground ball to third. Barbero just made a terrible throw, allowed him to reach base.
And that's something that Svensson has to keep in mind in his next outing. There were a lot of errors today, but Speranza needs to get the out right here.
Speranza does throw a strike on the outside corner. Fastball evens the count back at 1. Harriel on second. Reached a couple batters ago with a line drive base hit right in between short and third, but reached second due to an error from Ford in left. John Young then followed with a 5-pitch walk. The pitch, fastball on the outside corner, 1-2. So Speranza going to the bread where there's butter. 1-2, the fastball.
Go right back to it. Walker just showed that he couldn't keep up with it. Hammer it home.
1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Speranza looking to put up the first scoreless frame against the Amsterdam offense. The pitch. Lined into the right field gap. It's a base hit. Rodriguez fields. Rounding third is Harriel. Rodriguez's throw, 3-hop to the plate. Harriel scores standing up, and that is a huge insurance run for Amsterdam. 11-9 now is the score.
And Nick, that all stems from that booted ball by Justin Ford out there in left field at E7, coming to hurt Speranza here. If he doesn't boot that ball, keeps it in front of him, then Rodriguez would have had a much better chance there. And that throw from center field was also not his best. Took a few hops before getting to home.
In the first game of the season, we saw Rodriguez had a defensive outfield assist. He gunned down a runner at home with a much better throw than that one. But nonetheless, Luke Filippi, the leadoff hitter for Amsterdam at the box, ahead in the count, 1-0. Speranza lets in his first run of the season this summer with the Stallions. The 1-0 pitch is a fastball outside. Ball 2 now on the leadoff hitter for Amsterdam.
And it really seemed like that was the hitter right there. That was the at-bat that was going to change things for the Stallions defense, who faced the last 2 hitters in the lineup. UK Walker, you're ahead on Coltis at a 2-strike count, and then he just smacks one into center field.
Filippi is 0 for 2 with a walk. Young dancing off second. Pitch from Speranza is up in the zone, ball 3. So Filippi, after walking in the top of the 3rd, where he also stole a base and scored a run, in prime position to do so once again.
This is his 4th plate appearance, and we are in the 4th inning. Don't want to load the bases here for Sebastian Harden, who's on deck.
Who replaced Brandon McCrane, who had a triple and a single in his first 2 at-bats in this one. Filippi takes a strike. Thought it was ball 4, but nonetheless, Speranza catches the corner with the heater. 3-1 now on number 12. No action in the Stallion bullpen either, so this is Speranza all the way here in the top of the 4th. Young on second. Coltis on first. The 3-1 pitch is outside, ball 4. Filippi walks for the second time, bringing up Sebastian Harden, who also walked his last time, replacing Brandon McCrane, like we said moments ago.
He eventually came around to score. McCrane is a scary bat, but Sebastian Harden is not like a guy who is much worse than McCrane. Harden last season with the Mohawks was tearing it up, batted around 350 with them.
Brandon McCrane was the starting right fielder. Now Harden taking over those duties. First pitch from Speranza is a fastball up and away. Ball 1, bases loaded, nowhere to put Harden. Young on third. Coltis on second. Filippi on first.
Really need an out here. Cannot be letting up more here in the top of the 4th.
2 walks in this inning alone from Speranza. The pitch is lined down the right field line. Haben Siefken after it finally fields it. Excuse me, it goes all the way to the wall. This will clear the bases. Harden rounding second. He will be into third, standing up. So Amsterdam clears the bases. The score now 14-9. 2 RBI triples from the second hole hitter in the lineup for Amsterdam. But more importantly, it's been 2 different guys. Brendan McCrane with a triple in the first. Now Harden clearing the bases, 3 RBIs right there on that swing down the right field line.
And Nick, I've said it before in this game. I will say it again. It all comes back to errors. The Stallions have had 3 errors in this game, and the Mohawks, because of those errors, have put together now 8 runs. That's inexcusable. You cannot be giving extra outs to this team. They will punish you. They've put up at least 2 runs in every inning of this game. The Stallions don't have the offense realistically to keep pace with that. That's unrealistic. It hurt them in Boonville. It's killing them again here tonight. And now you have another 5-run hole to dig out of.
Like you mentioned, we talked about it in the pregame show. Sideline reporter Henry Hipsman did a hit on it about errors. 3 thus far. Hit the nail on the head. Can't give a team extra outs. Up next to the dish will be Jake Long, the left fielder, who in this game has been excellent. He had a sac fly back in the first that drew in a run. He had a line drive base hit single, which he also came around to score a run back in the second. And then in the third, he had a 2 RBI double. First pitch to him is a fastball in there, strike 1 after the mound visit. Harden still the runner on third after clearing the bases with a huge 3 RBI triple. Speranza ahead in the count, 0-1. The pitch blooped foul. Now Speranza way ahead, 0-2 on Long, playing left field today for Amsterdam.
Nick, I think the worst thing, too, is 9 of the Amsterdam runs tonight have come with 2 outs on the board. The Stallions have been close to getting out of these innings, just cannot find the final out.
The biggest thing for me is they've been ahead on the hitters. The previous at-bat, Speranza was ahead of Harden, who then found his way back in the count, who then lined a triple down the line. Right here, Speranza ahead on Long, 0-2. The pitch, fastball in there, strike 3. Jake Long goes down looking. Speranza finally gets out of it. Amsterdam puts up yet another crooked number, that being 4. 14-9, Mohawks ahead of the Stallions, with Saugerties coming to bat in the bottom half of the 4th. We'll be right back.
In a little bit.
Yeah, they just scored 4 runs. Welcome back to Canton Memorial Field. I'm Nick Zuppi alongside Dan Shalom. And Amsterdam puts up another crooked number. What else is new? 4 runs in the top of the 4th against Andrew Speranza, the Saugerties pitcher. And Dan, it's the errors that have been plaguing Saugerties all night. Another one, but last inning by Ford, a costly blunder for the Stallions.
Nick, you just cannot be giving up extra outs to this Mohawks team. They've done it now so many times in this game. And you go back to Boonville, the Stallions. 2 things here. First off, 7 of the runs have come off of errors. 9 of them have come with 2 outs. If you get rid of both of those things, Saugerties right now would be up 9-5. it's been all self-inflicted wounds. Saugerties can easily play with Amsterdam. They've just been shooting themselves in the foot.
Well, one of the guys who has 2 of the 3 errors is Danny Barbaro. He will lead things off for the Stallions. In this one, he's 2 for 2. He has scored 2 runs, but he also had it was his at-bat in the first inning where Haben Siefskin was nailed at home plate trying to score. When they were down 4 runs, they basically handed Amsterdam an out. So they're also giving them outs on both sides. Errors and then bad base running. Barbaro taps this one over the first. Touchstone will flip it to Reddick in time to retire Barbaro. So Reddick comes out of the bullpen and retires the first 4 hitters he faces.
He's been excellent so far and has completely shut down the top 4 in this Stallions lineup, who up to this point had all reached base safely twice. Shows how impactful Reddick's been. The Stallions need to hope that they can get him out of this game soon.
Despite making an error in the top half of the 4th, Justin Ford is now in the box where he's had a great game thus far. 0 for 0. He's walked twice, came around to score twice. Takes first pitch from Reddick right there, strike 1. But Ford has been a guy who's done it all year. 474 batting average, 6 RBIs, 4 walks. The 0-1 pitch is popped foul right near the light post down the right field line. 0-2. Reddick are now way ahead on Ford. James Reddick, 6'2", 185, just completed his freshman year at Fordham. Misses with the fastball up in the zone. 1-2 now on Ford.
Reddick has shut down these Stallions hitters. They've had uncompetitive at-bats here against Reddick ever since he's come in. They're 0 for 4.
Steps off now. Reddick into his motion, and the pitch. Breaking ball freezes Ford. Outside corner, strike 3. James Reddick looking very strong to start things here. 5 straight outs where the Amsterdam Mohawks, they needed that. 2 guys, Sam Falace only records 2 outs. Matt Scambati goes 1 1/3 but lets in 3 runs. Reddick has been the guy who put the Band-Aid on this game thus far for Amsterdam. Fires in a fastball right there. Strike 1 on Comiskey.
Second strikeout looking for these Stallions, too, against Reddick. Crosey being the other one. They just look like a totally different team offensively right now.
0-1 pitch as a fastball misses. Ball 1-1 on the Stallion first baseman, Casey Comiskey. He's played a little bit of second, a little bit of short. Now over at first in today's game. 1 for 2 in this one. Picked up a single back in the first. Also flew out to right field in the second. Now batting for the 3rd time here in the 4th inning. Ahead in the count, 2-1. Reddick's pitch is a breaking ball that Comiskey goes fishing for. So instead of it being 3-1 in favor of Comiskey, it's now 2-2.
Seems like a totally different approach out there for these Stallions hitters. Against Reddick, he's on the cusp of 6 straight retired.
The 2-2 pitch bounced in the dirt. Ball 3. On deck for the Stallions is DH Jack Painter. The DH played mainly first. Last game against Boonville, Painter played third. The DH today. The payoff from Reddick. Breaking ball put in play. Second baseman Fields fires and just in time to get Comiskey. So Reddick retires the Stallions in order. 1, 2, 3 in the 3rd inning and now the 4th inning. We'll be right back with Amsterdam coming back in the top. Welcome back to the top half of the fifth. Amsterdam coming to bat, leading the Stallions now out on the mound for the Stallions in his third inning of work. First pitch to Holcraft, the shortstop, batting cleanup. Fouled off, strike one.
Nick, the Stallions just need to see a 0 go up on that board. The Mohawks have plated at least 2 runs in every inning so far.
Speranza's 0-1 pitch is in there. Strike two, way ahead on Holcraft, who in this one, another beneficiary of poor defense from the Stallions, reached on an E5 from Barbero. I feel like I've been saying that a lot tonight. Also had a big RBI double in the second and went down looking his first time at the dish against Speranza back in the third. The 0-2 pitch is a breaking ball. Outside, just misses 1 and 2. Nine hits for the Mohawks, 6 for the Stallions through 4 full innings. Speranza into his motion, the pitch, fouled off by Holcraft. So we'll do it again. 1 ball, 2 strikes, nobody out to start the top of the fifth.
Would really like to see a strikeout here from Speranza. If you go back to the top of the third, Holcraft was the first batter that he faced and ended up getting him looking.
Holcraft hitting .350 thus far in the PGCBL. Started all 6 games for Amsterdam. Takes a fastball inside, ball 2. In these 6 games, he has 3 RBIs, 9 total bases. 6 of them by way of the walk. Speranza now evens the count 2-2 after missing in the previous one. Him and Sanchez on the same page now. Into his motion, the pitch. Breaking ball outside, just misses the zone. Speranza, after being ahead 0-2, works the count back to 3-2. Up next on deck is Bray Touchstone for Amsterdam. (14-9) is your score. 9:08, 2 hours removed since first pitch. The payoff is strike 3. Holcraft goes fishing. Breaking ball nowhere close. Holcraft swings and misses, so Speranza fans the leadoff guy. Now that's back-to-back innings where he has retired the leadoff guy. But like you said earlier, Dan, most of their damage came with 2 outs last inning.
9 runs with 2 outs for these Mohawks today. It's been a problem, but for Speranza, it's back-to-back strikeouts against Holcraft.
Up next, Bray Touchstone. Guy for this Amsterdam team who's done a little bit of everything. He's caught, played some first, done a great job behind the dish, done a great job in the box. The 0-1 pitch from Speranza is a ball, 1-1 on number 18, Bray Touchstone. In this one, he walked back in the first, scored a run, and then he had an RBI ground out in the second, which scored long. The 1-1 pitch, Touchstone goes fishing. 1-2 now on Touchstone.
Speranza looks dominant right here. Through these first 2 hitters, has to finish off Touchstone here.
1-2. Speranza had 4 strikeouts in his first outing against Oneonta, has 4 thus far in this one. Already matched his total on the season. Count back to even now, 2-2 on the number 5 batter in the Mohawk lineup. Speranza into his motion, the pitch. Fastball, swing and a miss, strike 3. Bray Touchstone goes down on strikes for his for the first time tonight, where he also popped out. Speranza, 5th K out of the bullpen. His fastball is looking fresh thus far.
He's been great. Back-to-back Ks as well for him. Has a chance to strike out the side, gave up a single to Harriel in the top of the 4th. Ford would boot it, and then he would eventually come around to score. So a chance here for Speranza to have a 1-2-3.
Speranza's first pitch to Harriel is a swing and a miss on the changeup, strike 1. But you mentioned his single back in the 4th. That was the only at bat he's credited with. He walked back in the first, which he also came around to score, and then he was hit by a pitch in the second to go along with the single to left. The 0-1 is a breaking ball in there, 0-2. So Harriel frozen with back-to-back breaking balls. Speranza, I wonder if he goes back to his go-to pitch, the fastball.
Got to be fastball. Nobody's been able to hit it here in the top of the 5th.
Speranza's been ahead at least 1 and 2 on every hitter thus far this inning. Holcraft, Touchstone, and now Harriel. The 0-2 pitch is a breaking ball put in play. Croce fields at short. Over to Comiskey at first, just in time to get the speedy Harriel. So Andrew Speranza works his first clean inning, works the first clean inning for Saugerties this game. 0 runs in the top of the 5th. The Stallions coming to bat in the bottom half, trailing by 5 when we come back.
Do you guys want to talk about that?
What?
Sure, yeah.
About Henry talking to their coach?
Yeah.
Sure, yeah, sure. Welcome back, folks. Canton Memorial Stadium, Amsterdam Mohawks versus the Saugerties Stallions. 14-9 is your score. Amsterdam has scored 5 runs in the first, 3 in the second, 2 in the third, 4 in the fourth, followed by a 0 in the top of the 5th.
That was a big 0 to get, Nick. Finally, not giving up a run when you're on defense. Time now for the Stallions to attack James Reddick. He's retired 6 straight since coming into this game.
The first guy who has the task to do so is the designated hitter, Jack Painter. The left-hander, 6'2", 195. In this one, Painter has walked once. He came around to score back in the first, where the Stallions sent 12 hitters to the dish in that one. Painter takes the laser of a fastball. 1-2 now on Painter from Reddick. The DH also reached base way of an error back in the second. That came from the first baseman, Touchstone. The 1-2 from Reddick is a check swing from Painter. Appeal down to first. Painter did not swing, so 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Painter with a walk in that first, reached on an E3 in the second, which actually scored 2 runs. Was looking to get on base for the Stallions. They haven't been able to crack Reddick.
2-2 fastball is in there. Strike 3. Painter doesn't like that one. Still in the batter's box, finally walking off. James Reddick paints the inside corner with a heater for strike 3.
Paints the corner on Jack Painter. That's now 3 strikeouts for Reddick in this game, and all of them have been looking Ks backwards.
Painter goes down on strikes. Following him in the lineup is the catcher, Logan Sanchez. First pitch to him is a breaking ball after that laser of a fastball to finish Painter for strike 1. Sanchez in this one, he's been productive at the dish. 2 sac flies. First one to right field, fouls that one off right there. 0-2, Reddick way ahead on Sanchez. But going back to him, he had a fly ball to right. That was the first sac fly in the first inning. And then in the second inning, it was to left field. 2 RBIs thus far for Sanchez.
And there is an arm warming in that Mohawks bullpen, so just a matter of time till Reddick's out of the game.
Sanchez, 3 hops this to shortstop. Holcraft fires over, and it is a high throw. Brings Touchstone off the bag, so Sanchez is safe. Second error of the game for the Mohawks. 5th between both teams thus far.
It just shows you how dominant Reddick's been. The Stallions' first base runner against him comes by way of an E6, and now time for Saugerties to take advantage.
The guy who can take advantage of that, Gabe Cavazzoni, the number 9 hitter, playing second base. He walked back in the first, and in the second hit a ground ball to third. 0 for 1 in this one. Facing Reddick. First pitch, Cavazzoni flies this one into the right field center gap. Harden on the run, camped underneath it, makes the play to retire Cavazzoni. So 2 outs here in the bottom of the 5th. The top of the order now rolls around. Luis Rodriguez, the center fielder, at the dish.
Rodriguez started this game hot in the first inning with a 2 RBI single and a single which just started this game for the Stallions offensively, and he came around to score. Grounded out over to third last time up, so looking for a little bit more from him here.
After a 0 for 4 game in Boonville a couple days ago, Rodriguez with a strong bounce-back performance thus far, and we're only in the bottom of the 5th. Potential to add even a better stat line to his line in this one.
This is a guy in the portal available through Pack-Up right now.
First pitch to him is a breaking ball in there, strike 1. Rodriguez turned in, completely fooled, wanted no part of that breaker from Reddick.
If Rodriguez makes contact here with Reddick's fastball, that ball's going to go a long ways. We know that Rodriguez has the power in the bat, and when a high-velocity fastball is coming in, who knows?
Rodriguez, in his freshman year at Marist, he was the cleanup hitter in their conference tournament, where he actually went deep over the left field fence at Boulder Stadium in Rockland County, New York. Reddick evens the count 1-1 with the fastball missing way above the strike zone. Checks on Sanchez, the runner at first, not in time. Sanchez not really a threat to steal. He doesn't have a stolen base thus far for the Stallions. But the Stallions have been aggressive on the bases. 29 through the first 6 in this one. Reddick slide step, breaking ball in there, strike 2. Rodriguez disagrees with the umpire, but nonetheless, he's behind in the count. 1-2, 2 outs. Reddick, after retiring 8 straight, doesn't get help from his defense. In E6 from the shortstop Holcraft, has a chance to get out of this one with back-to-back zeros. The 1-2, breaking ball, fouled away from Rodriguez. So we'll do it again. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Sanchez on first after reaching by way of the E6 from Holcraft.
That was a good swing right there from Rodriguez. Would like to see him do that again.
Rodriguez, hometown Garnerville, New York, but played high school ball at Reuben Gap Nachochi out in Georgia. Takes fastball 2-2 on the count on Rodriguez. Rodriguez making Reddick work, and this is the first Stallion hitter that really has done exactly that. Reddick's been lights out of the bullpen. The 2-2 pitch. Rodriguez lines this one down the left field line for a base hit. That'll fall in front of the left fielder Long. Sanchez will stop at second. Rodriguez picks up his 3rd hit of the game. Up next, Nick Croce, an RBI merchant for the Stallions thus far, has a chance to add another one with Sanchez out on second base.
Needs one right now, and I'll have to put it into the gap because Sanchez is not known for his speed out there at second base, but still nice to see the Stallions putting together some quality at-bats here against Reddick. If they don't even score here, could maybe cause a call to the bullpen, which would be a win at this point for the Stallions team.
Reddick's first pitch to Croce is a fastball in there on the outside corner for strike 1. In this one, the Chipotle product is 0 for 2, went down looking in the 3rd, popped out to end the top of the 1st, but his first at-bat of that inning was a walk where he came around to score. The check swing from Croce puts this in play. Gloved from Reddick. Nice flip using the glove. The pitcher showing off some elite athleticism right there. James Reddick puts up his 3rd zero of the game thus far. We're going to the top of the 6th. Stallions still trailing 14-9 with Amsterdam coming to bat. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Saugerties, New York. The Stallions trailing 14-9 to the Amsterdam Mohawks. But one of our sideline reporters, Henry Hipschman, caught up with the head coach for Amsterdam, Keith Griffin. Henry, what do you have to say?
Yeah, I had a chance to talk to Coach Griffin. He said we have to pitch better. We finally got to get a guy in there who can pitch a little better for the Mohawks tonight. It's been a bad job so far on the mound for these last couple innings, and hopefully they just keep swinging it. He says the team is still such a work in progress, and we got some really good kids coming up, and they've been getting beat up tonight, and they've been getting beat up the worst they have been all season, and hopefully they shut them down the rest of the game.
You mentioned them finally getting zeros out of the bullpen. Reddick has been pretty much almost perfect in this one. Did he say anything about the right-hander specifically in this one?
Well, I got a chance to talk to him early in Reddick's time on the mound, so he hasn't really seen too much at that point, but you got to imagine he's happy with this performance after such a disappointing start for them defensively.
And Henry, I'll ask you one thing here. This is the most runs that the Mohawks have let up all season. Did Keith Griffin cite a reason for why that might be?
He just said the pitching needs to improve, and he gave a lot of credit to the Stallions for beating them up the way they have tonight.
Well, thank you, Henry, for that awesome interview. We really appreciate all the insights that you give us. Leadoff hitter this inning is John Young, the second baseman for Amsterdam, behind in the count 0-2 on Speranza. The lefty winds and fires, changeup in the dirt, ball one, but Young had arguably the swing of the game to this point thus far. First pitch swinging, grand slam back in the first inning off Svensson. His first hit, his first home run, his first at-bat, and his first RBIs here in the PGCBL for Amsterdam. Speranza's 1-2 pitch is once again bounced in the dirt, ball two.
That's back-to-back pitches now that Sanchez has missed behind the plate.
With nobody on, not the worst thing. Ball boy for the Stallions, fields it, flips it to the dugout. 2-2. Speranza's done a nice job in relief of Svensson. 2 in the third innings thus far. His 2-2 pitch is fouled off by Young. Already the seventh pitch in this at-bat alone between Speranza and Young. But Speranza has 5 strikeouts. Svensson only 1. The lefty from Marist definitely has done a better job of quieting. I'm not going to say silencing, of quieting these bats of Amsterdam. Gets the sign he wants from Sanchez. The 2-2 pitch. Inside, ball 3. So after being down 0-2, Young does a great job of working his way back to a full count.
And, Nick, every at-bat in this game for the Stallions has been a war, and it's going to continue to be that way unless Speranza can get the out right here.
Full count on Young. Lefty pitcher. Lefty hitter. Nobody out. Leadoff hitter in the inning for Amsterdam. The 3-2 pitch. Fastball, swing and a miss, strike 3. So only the second time that Amsterdam has struck out swinging, the other 4 looking. But nonetheless, it's 6 strikeouts for Speranza.
6 strikeouts, and that's now 5 straight.
Walker, the catcher, who Speranza actually struck out last time he was in the box. He went down looking back in the 4th. First pitch is lined foul down the right field line. So Speranza and Reddick, 2 guys who have come out of each team's bullpen and put a Band-Aid on this one. If you're both of these managers, you have to be thanking them for their efforts, just because this could have been a busy night out of the bullpen. We could have seen a total of about 10 pitchers. This one is lined down the left field line, and it lands fair. Walker rounding first, heading for second. Ball bounces over into the Stallions bullpen. Ford throws his hands up. So a one-out double from Wes Walker. His first hit in this one, 1 for 4 now. Speranza surrendering his second extra base hit of the night.
And Nick, we were talking a little bit before that Walker double just about how great these relievers have been. And it's totally true. You just go back to Svensson and the last at-bat that he had against Sebastian Harden where he let up that 3 RBI triple. You take that off the board, and this is only a 2-run game. But you can't live in the past. The Stallions still have to get out of this inning here in the top of the 6th.
A lot of would have, could have, or should haves in this one. Both teams making errors. 2 for the Mohawks, 3 for the Stallions. Speranza's first pitch is put in play by Coltis, and Balbero makes his 3rd error in this one. Coltis will reach first. First pitch swinging. Runners on the corners now for this Amsterdam lineup, which is now just going to turn over. Luke Filippi, the leadoff hitter, in the box.
And that won't go down as an error on Barbero because he never actually made contact with the ball. But if you're scoring it not officially, that should be another error on Barbero. He has had a rough night over there at the hot corner.
Only his second game playing third this season, the last one being a couple days ago against Boonville. The first two he played, he was the DH. Nonetheless, Amsterdam with another prime opportunity to add some runs after.
And excuse me, that actually will go down officially as an E5. So third error of the night tagged on Barbero. And the rain's coming down here again.
Fourth of the game for the Stallions. The rain is a factor. Speranza's 0-1 pitch to Filippi is a miss. Ball one. 1 ball, 1 strikes, 1 out on Luke Filippi, who in this one popped out to third in the first, grounded out to the pitcher back in the second, but then reached on back-to-back walks where he scored 2 runs and also stole the base. The 1-1 pitch is blooped into the right field. Cavazzoni after it does not make the play. That'll score another run. Luke Filippi picks up his first hit of the night. Third time now he's been on base. That'll score Walker 15-9. Now Amsterdam ahead of Saugerties.
This is just rough, Nick. It's errors, errors, errors. That's been the name of the game here all day long. 4 in this one. 10 runs because of those 4 errors. And Virgil Heath set to come in now for the Stallions.
Like you said, here comes head coach Colin Martin signaling to the pen. Virgil Heath will not be next. It will be another right-hander coming out of the bullpen.
He was the one warming, so that's my bad. That's why they don't put me in charge, Nick. I saw him warming originally, but we'll see. We'll get you that name on the other side.
Like you said, on the other side, Stallions pitching change. Dallas Hot Wieners call to the bullpen. 15-9 is your score. First and second when we come back. A Dallas Hot Wieners call to the bullpen. Number 13, Jace Van Valkenburg in to pitch for the Stallions. 6'4", 200 pounds, rising sophomore. And he had some trouble to work with. First and second, 1 out, facing the number 2 hitter in the Amsterdam lineup. That now being Sebastian Harden, who came in for Brandon McCrane in the second when he had to leave due to a left shoulder injury.
And Harden hurt the Stallions with 2 outs in the inning, a 3 RBI triple, which he just smacked into the right field corner. That's been the story today, Nick. Errors and 2 out runs.
Van Valkenburg in relief of Speranza. The 0-1 pitch is a breaking ball in there. Strike 2. Harden didn't like that one. But Van Valkenburg has been solid for Saugerties. He's appeared twice, both out of the bullpen. He's pitched a total of 6 innings, 4 hits, 4 walks, and he struck out 5, with opponents only hitting 190 against him this summer. Ahead in the count, 0-2 on Harden. High breaking ball outside of the zone. Ball 1.
He just lost some control on that one. Didn't finish it. Just needs to pull down a little bit more.
Coltis on second after he reached by way of an error from third baseman Danny Barbero. Filippi on first after he singled. Brings up Harden at the dish. This one is a sky-high fly ball. Rodriguez and Ford both after it. It will be Ford running in on it. Makes the play. A fake tag from Coltis at second. 2 outs now in the inning. Van Valkenburg comes out of the bullpen and gets a big out for the Stallions.
Now you can go to any base on the infield and you get out of this inning. Nice stuff there by Van Valkenburg, and he's been solid so far this season. 6 innings pitched, and still has not given up more than 2 earned runs.
He's been solid in this one, but against Amsterdam last year for the Stallions, he wasn't. He pitched only an inning and 2/3 where he gave up 4 earned runs. Looking to have a better outcome against them this time around. First pitch in there, strike 1 on the number 3 hole. Hitter Jake Long playing left field. Long in this one. 2 for 3. Sac fly back in the first. A 2 RBI double in the third, and also came around to score back in the second after singling the left field.
This would be a confidence booster here, Nick. You're still down by 6, obviously, but just let up 1 run through 2 innings after letting up 10 in the first 4. Or, excuse me, more than that. 14 in the first 4.
Van Valkenburg ahead 0-2 on Long. Way ahead for that matter. The pitch. This one is hit hard into the right field gap. Rodriguez running after it on the track, makes the play to retire Long. Van Valkenburg comes out of the pen, retires Harden, and retires Long. So we're going to the bottom of the 5th. Amsterdam adds 1, 15-9 is your score, with the Stallions coming to bat from Cantine when we come back. Welcome back to Saugerties, 15-9. Stallions trailing Amsterdam, but they're up at the bottom. They're up this inning here in the bottom of the 6th. Travis Hobbins-Siefkin will start things off. A Dallas Hot Wieners, call to the bullpen for Amsterdam, their 4th pitcher, Derek Duval. His first pitch to Hobbins-Siefkin is a fastball in there at the bottom of the zone for strike 1. The right-hander from Rotterdam, New York, comes in relief of Reddick, where Dan Reddick was just spectacular.
He was magnificent. 3 innings pitched, 1 hit, No runs and 3 Ks. Really could not ask for much more out of your middle reliever.
And the only guy that reached base was because of an error by the shortstop Hallcraft, but other than that, he was perfect. The 1-1 pitch is a fastball that just misses. 2-1 now on Haben Siefken.
And Duval is a guy that does a little bit of everything. Started the opener for the Mohawks against the Oneon Outlaws, but in the last 3 games has actually come in to close things down and is being used here in the middle innings.
Haben Siefken skies this one away, now 2-2 on him. But in this one, he's had a big day at the box too. An RBI double back in the first. He also reached base way of the walk in the second, and then a fly ball to left in the third, batting now for the 4th time here in the 6th. The 2-2 pitch from Duval. Haben Siefken lines this one to center field. Filippi is there to make the play. First batter for Duval. Haben Siefken is retired. 1 out. Up next for the Stallions, number 47 playing third base, who has not played it well, Danny Barbero. He's made 3 errors in this one. First pitch to him is a breaking ball low in the zone, ball 1, but he's hit very well. In the first and second innings, he scored both times. He had and he has had 2 singles.
It's just unfortunate, Nick, that Barbero has had a rough night over at third base. 3 errors, which have all translated to runs for the Mohawks. Just one that he has to wipe away after this one and get back after it tomorrow.
Big swing from Barbero on that one. Swing and a miss on the fastball. 2-1.
Back in one swing.
Barbero, a guy who does have power, homered 8 times for Butler this past spring, takes fastball strike 2. 2-2 now on Barbero. Amsterdam out hitting Saugerties 11-7. The 2-2 pitch. Barbero lines this one foul. 2-2 with 1 out here in the bottom of the 6th.
And there is another arm warming in that Mohawk bullpen.
Van Valkenburg, though, in the top half after Speranza let in one. Great job by Jace to at least limit the damage. Came in with runners on first and second with 1 out. Only held Amsterdam to just that 1 run that came across when Speranza was on the mound. 3-2 now. Barbero, after being ahead 2-0, finds himself in a full count with 1 out here in the bottom of the 6th. The payoff from Duval. Barbero lines this one to center field. Filippi under it makes the play. So 2 flyouts to Filippi thus far in the bottom of the 6th for the Stallions. Brings up the number 5 hitter, Justin Ford, who in this one, he's been busy at in the box as well.
Louder contact for the Stallions here in the bottom of the 6th against a new arm, that being Derek Duval. They've had 2 hard-hit balls to center field, but nothing to fall just yet. Needs something here with Ford at the dish.
Ford has walked twice. He's also come around to score twice. Against James Reddick, he went down looking in the 4th, so 0-1 in this one. First pitch to him is a breaking ball, lined to center field. This will fall in front of Filippi. Justin Ford picks up his first hit of the game. A base runner for the Stallions. Bottom of the 6th, 2 outs. Casey Kaminsky due next. Casey Kaminsky, after an 0-for-4 game against Boonville a couple of days ago. And this one, he singled and scored a run back in the first, followed by a fly out to right and a ground out to short. 1 for 3 following the 0-for-4. First pitch to him is a fastball in there, strike 1. And like Reddick, Duval is using that fastball to just blow away these Stallion hitters. That one was a fast one, pun intended. Derek Duval just completed his junior year at Charleston. The 0-1 pitch is ball. Forward away at first. The 1-1 pitch. This one's put in play in between the hole, and this will be a base hit. Casey Kaminsky picks up his second hit of the game. Ford will stop at second with the ball in front of him. So all of a sudden, with 2 outs, the Stallions have action. The designated hitter, Jack Painter, stepping up to the dish. Back-to-back singles from Ford and Kaminsky. Kaminsky's second hit of the game. Jack Painter now. He's walked 9 times this season, including one of them tonight, back in the first where he came around to score. He also had an at-bat in the second where he hit a soft ground ball to first, but Touchstone bobbled it, which then led to 2 runs for the Stallions. Nonetheless, after the mound visit, he'll be hitting with runners on first and second here in the bottom of the 6th.
And Walker just wanting to talk things over here. First time that the Mohawks have had to handle traffic in 3 innings.
Fielding percentage of .917 when he's in the
Duval coming out of the pen in relief. Gets the first 2 outs quickly. Both flyouts to center, now in a little bit of trouble. First pitch to Painter is a fastball in there, strike 1. And Painter is a guy who has been disciplined. He doesn't swing very much like there. He took a very hittable fastball in the zone for strike 1. He's walked 9 times, like we said earlier, good for an on-base percentage of around .500. Duval checks forward at second. Now twice. The 0-1 pitch is a fastball in there, strike 2. Excuse me, a little bit inside. Ball 1 now, the count back to even.
trying to paint the outskirts of the zone like I previously showed you that, but this one was just a hit. And also near miss for a hit by
Ford on second, Comiskey on first. Painter in the box, swings, puts this one in play. Touchstone fields it, fires over to Duval, covering, and that will retire the Stallions. So after 2 quick outs, the Stallions answer with 2 hits, and then Painter ultimately taps one to first to retire the side. Derek Duval puts up a 0, and Jace Van Valkenburg will be out in the top of the 7th for the Stallions with Dan Shalom on play-by-play when we come back.
Top of the 7th here in Saugerties. Stallions still trailing this game 15-9. Dan Shalom with you alongside Nick Zuppi and a special guest here in the broadcast booth, former Mohawks broadcaster, recent Syracuse graduate, Ian Nicholas joining us in the booth. Ian, great to have you here back at Cantine.
Great to be here. Certainly a lot of Mohawks wins that I got to witness over the Stallions, who were really the only team that could keep up with Amsterdam back in the 2022 season when I was broadcasting in the Perfect Game League. So thanks for having me on.
And I don't think much has changed over the last 3 years either.
No.
As the rain starts to come down here at Cantine Field. Chris Holcraft starting things off. I mean, Ian, PGCBL as a whole is a league that you were in a long time ago, but just
3 years.
I mean, what's it like being back here?
I mean, it's great. I mean, Cantine's always been one of the more cool venues in the league, and they've got a super passionate fan base. I know, especially around the 4th of July. You and I were talking about it earlier, you know, with the 4th of July parade in a couple of weeks that everybody in this town absolutely loves. I've never been a part of it or anything, but I know it's really special, and I know that, you know, around that time, especially if you can get Amsterdam to come down here, or if even, you know, if Saugerties is playing up in Amsterdam, it's going to be an awesome environment.
Got Utica on July 4th this year. 1-2 is popped up over here to the right side. Comiskey chasing. Almost made there by Cavazzoni. He can't make the play. Rolls into the tarp.
Yikes.
And he seems to be okay. Ian, you were a broadcaster with the Orleans Firebirds on the Cape Cod Baseball League the last 2 seasons.
Yeah.
You've seen a couple of Stallions and Mohawks roll through the Cape Cod League. Just what was that like for you to see guys who you broadcast in the PGCBL in the Cape League?
Oh, it was awesome. I mean, even before I had the chance to broadcast on the Cape, the Mohawks. I mean, they won 43 games in 2022 out of 50 or 51, and we kind of made a joke that the Mohawks became a feeder program for the Chatham Anglers, who are a pretty well-known team out on the Cape.
This one's grounded over to first. Comiskey will step on the bag for out number 1.
You mentioned that dominant season, winning 43 of 50 games, good for a winning percentage of about 86%. Can you describe what it was like to be the broadcaster for a team that did win the whole thing, the PGCBL, back in 2022?
I mean, it was really like I was calling games.
And may I mention, that was the year after the Stallions won it as well in 21.
Yeah, they beat Amsterdam in 2021, and I remember those were the two teams that I definitely knew were going to be a threat to be in it again. And, you know, fortunately for me, the Mohawks did get the better of the Stallions that year in the East Division Final.
This one grounded over to short. Crosey throws across the diamond. A nice pick over there at first, but not in time.
But it was an awesome season, a cartoonish season. It was like I was calling games for the Harlem Globetrotters, especially a couple of my buddies that I did broadcasting with in high school back in Connecticut. One of them was calling games for the Syracuse team in the NYCBL. Another one was calling games for, unfortunately, a pretty poor team in the Florida League. And they were like jealous of how, like, at one point, you know, the Mohawks won 14 games, tied the league record for the most wins in a row. They were 24-4 at one point in the year. I didn't have a good grasp of what it was like to lose. Whenever the Mohawks lost, I felt like the sky was falling because it just didn't happen. So it was really special to be part of that environment and to cover some of those guys who ended up doing some pretty cool things.
And Ian, that dominance didn't waver at all last season. 35-7 the record for the Mohawks, which was actually their worst in 3 years, which talks just about the quality that Keith Griffin brings to this franchise year in, year out.
He's a no-nonsense guy who absolutely loves the game, knows everything about it, and has the ultimate respect of not only everybody in Amsterdam, but in this league, and really in summer collegiate baseball in general. I mean, I'll never forget when we had early in the season a doubleheader up in Watertown. I don't even know if Watertown is still
They're
in
out of the league. They
Yeah,
left after
right.
this past season.
Yeah, the Rapids now in the NYCBL,
Yep.
I believe. And we were going up for a doubleheader, and for those bus rides, you know, Coach Griffin would call players up one by one to the front of the bus where he sat to have just a quick little 5 to 10 minute chat with him on, you know, how they were doing. And I was never a part of those because obviously I wasn't a player. But this time around, I get a tap on the shoulder as I was just, you know, jotting down crap on my, you know, spotting boards for the game from one of my, you know, friends on the team. And they said, Coach Griffin wants you up there. I'm like, what? And then I go up there, and, you know, Coach Griffin was walking me through how I broadcasted the game the night before because as 36 goes down looking for Amsterdam,
Jaden Harriel.
a lot different looking team than it was in 2022. Long story short, Coach Griffin kind of walked through why he made a certain decision in the night before and kind of was, you know, like helping me grow my baseball IQ in the moment. It wasn't just to say, hey, you criticized my coaching
I'm
decision.
going to assume here you said he should do the opposite of the decision he made.
Right. I mean, he pretty much walked what was statistically the worst player in the other team's batting order to make the bases loaded and brought up the best player in the other team's batting order, and I didn't understand it. But you know what? They got the final guy, the best player in that batting order, out, and he said, you know why I did it? To get a force at every base, and there were already 2 outs. And you know what? It works for Coach Griffin. It seems like it works more often than not for him in Amsterdam.
The 0-1 here to Young is grounded over to second. Cavazzoni throws to first in time. Ian, it's been a pleasure having you here on the broadcast. Always great to see you and amazing to have you here at Cantine Field, so thank you for joining us. Still a 6-run game as it's time to stretch here at Cantine Field. Welcome back to Saugerties. Dan Challen with you alongside Nick Zuppi. Nick, always great to have Ian Nicholas on the broadcast. Both of us are Syracuse guys. Ian a Syracuse crowd himself. So always cool to have other people in the Orange community join us here on the broadcast. Still a 6-run game as we enter the bottom of the 7th, and the rain still coming down here at Cantine Field.
You brought up our guest a couple of moments ago. It's a full circle moment, right? You were in the PGCBL as a freshman.
Yep.
I'm in the the PGCBL as a freshman. Ian was in the PGCBL as a freshman. We've all kind of been here, done that, got to learn from each other in all aspects of that way.
Without a doubt, and great that you're here with us in the summer of 2025. Logan Sanchez at the dish. First pitch misses down low for ball 1. This one's chopped over to the left side. Thrown over to first in time for out number 1. Cole Kraft just played it on the bounce, threw it over, had an E6 last time Sanchez was at the dish. Cavazzoni now up to the box, and Nick, after this game started really slow with a lot of scoring in the first 2 innings, this has picked up the pace as we head to the latter half of this ball game.
It took 2 hours to get through the first full innings, and about 45 minutes after that, we've played two and a half innings of baseball in pretty much a half of what it took to get through the first 4.
This one is a sky-high pop to center field. Filippi under it. Makes the play, and 2 quick outs here in the bottom of the 7th. Top of the lineup, it'll be Luis Rodriguez to the dish, who's been a bright spot for the Stallions tonight. 3 for 4, 2 RBIs, has come around to score as well. Expected to have around 50 minutes more rain here at Cantine Field, still coming down. And rain doesn't seem like it's going to be too bad. Can definitely play through it with the drizzle. That one misses down low, bounces off Walker's glove for ball 2.
The rain has kind of been on and off. We saw some drizzle back in the first and second innings. Here it is back in the 7th. It's
a 2-0 count. Stallions down by 6. Came back from 5 down in this game early on. Rodriguez was trying to square bunt. This one is in the zone for strike 1.
Rodriguez squared bunt last time he was at the dish before he lined a single to left field.
2-1. That one, the breaking ball inside for ball 3. Rodriguez with the hitter's count. Reached base in the bottom of the 5th with 2 outs. Had a single. Croce would eventually ground out back to Reddick at the time for the 3rd out. Rodriguez works a walk, and there's a 2-out base runner here for the Stallions in the bottom of the 7th.
Rodriguez now on base for the 4th time tonight. Croce looking to have some better fortune with him on base than the last couple of times he's been in the ditch.
Croce tonight 0 for 3, does have a walk, but in his last 3 plate appearances has gone down. Takes a first pitch strike. And Nick, you really go back to if the Stallions go on to lose this game, the errors were the difference in this game. And you eliminate those, and this is probably a 1-run game, and the Stallions might even have the lead.
It was the same thing we talked about pregame show from the last game against Boonville. They made 3 costly errors that led to runs, but taking it a step further. Pitch fouled off by Croce. Taking it a step further, those errors are more costly because all of the runs have came with 2 outs. That's the big thing. That the errors would have ended the innings. Instead, they're extending them, and Amsterdam using that to their advantage.
0-2 count here to Croce. Misses down low. It's a 1-2. There is a new arm warming in the Mohawk bullpen, and it seems like A pitcher with a submariner type of motion is getting ready for the Mohawks. Croce cuts and misses, and that perfectly describes the Stallions' offense over the last 5 innings. No runs after putting up 9 in the first 2. We head to the 8th, 15-9 Mohawks. Top of the 8th, Jace Van Valkenburg still on the mound here for the Stallions. The new arm is warming out there in the pen, but Jace going to start this 8th, and he will face the 8, 9, and leadoff hitters for the Mohawks. Things are going to start with Wes Walker, the catcher, who had a ground rule double in the 6th inning and eventually came around to score.
One of the only hard contacts that relief pitcher Speranza surrendered in his 2 2/3 outing, courtesy of Walker.
That one's fouled back for strike 1. The Mohawks have really dominated this season on the road, outscoring opponents 25-5 coming into this game. Now make that 40-14. This one is smacked up the middle. A leadoff base hit here for Wes Walker in the top of the 8th.
The 2-time reigning PGCBL champs. Looking like they're
Three-time.
Excuse what?
3-time PGCBL champs.
Excuse me, I was wrong.
Mohawks
Looks like they're going to win another one. That's my
Nick,
point.
I know you're getting a little confused because I know the Stallions were the last ones to win before the Mohawks, so it's understandable to get a little bit confused. But the Mohawks have three-peated. Stallions got knocked out by them in last year's East Final. Rain coming down heavier right now than it has all night long. Brad Cultus to the dish. That one misses upstairs for ball 1. And we still have to remember, Nick, that there are players coming in for the Stallions. This is not the final roster. There are still a couple guys in those super regionals and now headed to Omaha, which the Stallions will get once they conclude their seasons.
2 guys from Louisville, outfielder Griffin Crane and catcher George Baker. So 2 guys that are coming to the Stallions, like you said, are in the Super Regionals. Louisville's still playing, still alive, which
on their way to Omaha now. So it'll be a little bit longer till they get here to Cantine Field, but we are rooting them on from Saugerties out there in Nebraska. That one's in there for strike 2.
Obviously, success in Omaha for Louisville, Baker, and Crane is a little more important for them than playing summer ball here in Saugerties. So hopefully,
but it'll be great to have them when they do eventually get here. 1-2. Strike 3. Gets Cultus swinging. Second time he's down on strikes tonight. And now Luke Filippi will come to the dish for the Mohawks with 1 out and a man on first. Rain coming down heavily here at Cantine Field.
Van Valkenburg picks up his second strikeout of the game thus far.
That one misses for ball 1. Walker's at first. Stallions down by 6. After tonight, they will travel to Glens Falls. This one, a tailor-made double play over to second on to first in time. Van Valkenburg produces a 4-6-3 double play, holds the Mohawks to nothing here in the top half of the 8th, and even Keith Griffin giving him a little clap as he walks off the diamond here at Cantine Field. Six-run game here at Cantine Field. Time to take a look ahead on what's on tap for the Stallions. They'll take a trip up to Glens Falls tomorrow, off day on Tuesday, before coming right back here to face the Dragons on Wednesday night. Then we'll host Oneonta before taking a trip up to Utica before coming back here to face the Outlaws. A strange schedule, Nick. They'll play the same team 2 times Glens Falls, 2 times Oneonta, and see Utica for the first time on the road in the upcoming week.
But each team is under 500, so the Stallions could get hot. They could win all of the upcoming 5 games for them, really get hot and improve their record in the standings, maybe even catch Amsterdam.
And a big homestand coming up, 2-3 of those games at home. We will have all those matchups for you here on the Stallions YouTube network with pregame 15 minutes before slated first pitch. Outside of Utica, as we are not allowed to go and broadcast at Donovan Stadium. Travis Hobbins-Siefkin will lead things off here in the bottom of the 8th. Duval still on the mound. This one is popped up in foul territory on the right side. Moving over, it's Touchstone. He'll make the play. 1 down in the bottom of the 8th. Make this turning into a game where the Stallions just want to get out of it. Danny Barbero to the dish now. 2 for 4 tonight. But the problem for Barbero has been the errors all game long for him. 3 at the hot corner, which have resulted in a multitude of Mohawk runs. He takes a first pitch strike. The 0-1 misses outside for ball 1, and Nick, we look at the standings in the PGCBL. Mohawk Valley behind the Stallions at 3-3. They will be tied for second place, given that the Stallions don't mount the comeback here tonight. And then the rest of the league only has 1 win as of right now. So outside of Amsterdam, the field is wide open.
We mentioned it in the pregame show. It's really a race for second place at this point. It seems like Amsterdam has clearly separated themselves as the clear-cut favorite to win this thing. But the Stallions and the Mohawk Valley Diamond Dogs, it seems like it's going to be a war for them to get that second seed in the tournament.
Boonville knocked off Utica earlier today, 17-12. And you think this is high scoring, that just as high scoring. And that helps out the Stallions a little bit, as Utica not coming close at 1-3 now. And then Glens Falls actually defeating Mohawk Valley 7-3. Not a score that you would expect, especially on the road. Now that's a Dragons team That snaps the 2-game losing streak, improves to 2-4, and will play the Stallions tomorrow night.
Bad sign for the Stallions. A team like Glens Falls, like you said, who's at the bottom, picks up a big win before playing the Stallions these next 2 days.
Clean throw over to first, 2 out in the bottom of the 8th. And tomorrow as well, the only other East game that will be in action is Mohawk Valley against Boonville. Oneonta and Utica postponed to a later date. Justin Ford at the dish. He takes a first pitch strike. Tonight for Ford, 1 for 2. 2 walks in the first 2 innings, and then from there, a strikeout looking and a single in the 6th. Has a 1-1 count. Ford with a big cut and a miss, a 1-2 count. And the vibe here at Cantine Field is a quiet one now, as we're in the bottom of the 8th. Rain coming down. Still a school night at this point in the year. And Ford goes down looking. The Stallions have completely gone dormant after 9 runs through the first 2 innings. They've put up 6 straight zeros. 6 outs left in this one. We head to the 9th. Mohawks up by 6. Top of the 9th here at Cantine Field. Sam Blanco into the game for Casey Comiskey. Defensive replacement. And that's just to get Blanco an at-bat in the bottom of the 9th as Comiskey is due up. Harden at the dish. Van Valkenburg's still out there for the Stallions. They're going to let him ride this one out. This one's grounded over to the left side. Croce fields cleanly, throws across the diamond. Not in time. Nick, this has just been a sloppy night of baseball for the Stallions, similar to that game in Mohawk Valley, similar to that in Boonville.
But it's correctable mistakes. Obviously, like you said, sloppy errors, giving the other team extra outs, but they're correctable. The Stallions still put up 9 runs. Definitely a strong showing from them in that regard. But like I said, correctable mistakes.
This one's flown out to right center field by Long. Rodriguez makes the play. 1 down here in the top of the 9th. Since that top of the 4th in which Amsterdam plated the 14th run of their night, there's only been 1 run scored by either side, that being in the top of the 6th. Van Valkenburg misses down low for ball 1.
I'm just a hungry color commentator. Hungry, keyword hungry. But, I think it's payback for the last 2 days. Last 2 games we've been lucky with the 7-inning mercy.
Harden at first. Holcraft takes a strike. It's 1-1. Tomorrow night, Stallions will clash with the Glens Falls Dragons. 7 o'clock start up there at East Field. Weather looking a little bit inclement, 70% chance of showers. But if there is a game, we will have it for you right here on the Stallions YouTube network with the 6:45 Archtop Fiber pregame show. That one misses outside for ball 2.
Stallions had a good showing against the Dragons last time. 14-5 win here at Cantine for the Saugerties over Glens Falls.
2-1. Off speed in there for strike 2. Van Valkenburg has done a nice job since coming into this ball game. Just 1 run given up.
He's really done a nice job all season. Last game against Mohawk Valley, he threw 3 innings of just 1-run ball.
2-2. Fouled off, and the count will stay at 2-2. Mohawks.
Van Valkenburg, familiar with the PGCBL, played for the Stallions back in 2024. A guy who pitched well, too. 4-0 record, 23 innings, 3.42 ERA, continuing his success with the Stallions over the summers.
Fouled off again. Amsterdam most likely improving to 7-0 on the young season. Last year started at 5-2, so off to a better start this year than they were last year. And finished at 35-7, which was their worst record among the championship-winning years. Holcraft, down on strikes. 2 outs in the top of the 9th. Here for Bray Touchstone. There's an arm warming over there in the Amsterdam bullpen. Interested to see if Keith Griffin brings in a new arm for the bottom of the 9th. Van Valkenburg misses upstairs for ball 1. Still consistent drizzle here at Cantine Field. It seems like the umpires are going to finish this one out before stopping for weather. 1-0. Misses upstairs for ball 2. Van Valkenburg struggling a little bit with the control. But he's been excellent regardless.
I saw him warming up in the bullpen, but they elected to keep
this one's fouled off. 2-1.
Because the score is pretty high right now, and Duval was having a solid 2 innings.
Was Duval the one that pitched the top of the 9th in that tie game against Boonville on Monday, or was that?
Yeah, he was in the same situation.
Opponents are giving up 11.5 runs to the Mohawks this season. That's staff's ERA against Amsterdam, sitting at an 11.57. And that number is going to go higher, given that the Stallions have let up 15 here tonight. 3-1 from Van Valkenburg, misses down low. It's a 5-pitch walk to Bray Touchstone. Jaden Harriel next to the dish here in this 6-run ball game. 2 outs on the board, runners at first and second.
Harriel's been on base 3 times, a walk, a hit by pitch, and reached by way of a single back in the 4th inning and advanced to second when Ford didn't handle it and left.
This one's fouled off to the right side. Last time Stallions were at home, game started at 7:05, finished at 10:35, 3:30 in total. And here tonight, getting close to that mark as we approach 10:30. 0-1 count to Harriel. Van Valkenburg misses upstairs. The rain definitely affecting his grip a little bit.
Ariel's had a solid game, don't you think? He's had a couple hits, and he's also had a few walks. I can't tell off the top of my head because my scorebook got a bit too wet. It's raining outside.
1-1 count.
I kind of had to scratch the score a little bit.
Here's the pitch. Misses down low. It's 2-1.
My scorebook did get a bit wet because of the rainy conditions we have here in Saugerties.
He's 1 for 3 right now. He was hit by the pitch, and he walks his first time up. 1 for 3. The other base hit came around to score. Also came around to score.
This one's tasered over to the third base side. They moved Comiskey over there. He throws to first in time for out number 3, Barbero. no longer in the game. So Kaminsky in his first rep over there, a third, does a nice job. And we head to the bottom of the 9. Stallions down to their final 3 outs, trailing by 6. Manny Santos on to get the final 3 outs of this ball game. Santos spent the 2024 PGCBL season with Amsterdam. Sported a 3.2 ERA in 11 games over 19 2/3 innings pitched.
Pitched against the Stallions 3 times. One of those was here at home at Cantine Field. In that outing, he gave up 2 earned runs over 1 inning pitched.
And the biggest thing is that he actually came into the playoff game against Saugerties and closed things down, was credited with the save in that one. So this is an arm that the Stallions have seen a bunch of times, 4 in total from last season, so some of the returners on this team definitely familiar. It'll be Comiskey, Painter, and Sanchez for the Stallions here in the bottom of the 9th, 6, 7, and 8. Comiskey moved over to third base there in the top half of the 9th. Blanco went over to first, and then Barbero came out of this game.
Here today for the Mohawks is Sam Felice, as Ian mentioned, is his 4th season.
This one's chopped over to the left side and booted by Harry L. This will go into the outfield. This has been an ugly game overall. That is the 7th error of this ball game. The Stallions have a leadoff base runner.
7 errors to go along with 23 hits. So plenty of balls have been put in play in this one.
Excuse me, that will get credited as a hit officially.
In the rain, as Barbero, as you mentioned earlier, had some errors with that.
Jack Painter will be next, the DH. Santos, known for that fastball at the top of the zone, rips that one straight past Walker, and going up 90 feet will be Comiskey.
I think that's a pass ball.
Well, that's one thing, but I'm looking to see if they gave him a single. They did. So they gave him a single. No.
Oh, no, I was saying pass ball on the catcher. You're talking about the Harriot play. I see.
There is a new arm warming in the Mohawk bullpen if Manny Santos gets into some trouble. 1-0 misses down low. It's 2-0, and Santos struggling with some of that control can definitely attribute the rain to some of that.
The rain really has intensified here, Dan, as we've gone on in this one.
Two-0 count here to Jack Painter. Pitch. Smacked over to second. Young fields it cleanly, throws to first in time. Productive out number 1. The Stallions now a sac fly scores a run, but probably won't matter at this point in a 6-run ball game.
Sanchez does have 2 sac flies in the first and second inning, 1 to left and 1 to right.
Logan Sanchez, the catcher, to the dish. Back-to-back balls, use it over to shortstop. One in the 5th was booted there. And then the last one fielded cleanly by Holcraft.
Alex Sanchez, 2 today, 2 sack flies. Amsterdam here. We're at the third. We're trying to bring him home. Cut to a 5 run.
For Sanchez, this is his second appearance of the season. He boasts a 4.50 ERA and 2 innings pitched. 2 hits, 1 run, 1 return.
Big cut and a miss right there. 0-2 count on Sanchez. And the Stallions just looking for something here, but at this point,
2 strikeouts and 6
down by 6, just got to wipe this one away and look forward to tomorrow night.
33 against
Santos pitches. Strike 3, got him looking.
So Sanchez gets sent down.
Stallions down to their last out of this game. Gabe Gavazzoni, the 9-hole hitter, will step to the dish.
You say so. This could be the final at bat of the game, and it belongs to Arizona to second base.
15-9 score.
0 for 3 night for Cavazzoni. A walk in the first, where the Stallions played at 6, and that's the interesting thing about this game. The Stallions are down by 6 runs now, but led twice in this game, 6-5 and 9-8. Since then, the Mohawks have put up 7 unanswered. 0-1 in there for strike 2, and Saugerties is down to its final strike of the ball game.
Game that was flip-flopped in the first 3 innings. The Amsterdam Mohawks
After nearly 3.5 hours here in Saugerties, this might be the last one. Last pitch of the game.
Santos comes set at the belt, now deals. Cavazzoni stays alive. Count stays 0-2.
The main reason why the Mohawks held on to control in this game is they held Saugerties to 0 runs since the second inning. The Mohawks have scored in the 3rd, 4th, and 1 run in the 6th inning.
Stallions most likely going to drop their first game here at home this season. Came in 2-0.
to improve to 7-0. Santos.
And here's the 0-2.
Four strike. Ground ball to the left side. Holcraft
Chopped over to Holcraft. He throws to first.
is
In time for out number 3. And the Stallions are handed their first home loss of the 2025 season. 15-9 your final. The Mohawks stay undefeated. A perfect 7-0. Stallions fall 15-9 the final. We will be with you tomorrow night up in Glens Falls as Saugerties looks to rebound. They fall by 6 here tonight against the Mohawks of Amsterdam. For our entire crew, our producer Bella Holleran, our reporter Henry Hipschman, my partner Nick Zuppi, Dan Schaum saying goodnight here from Saugerties. The Stallions fall by 6.